Oh boy.
Woo!
Big day. Big day, Will. What do you think? Big day. So we got a live stream, as you guys know. Thanks for tuning in. As you're going here, normally we're used to doing those recording broadcasts, so I apologize, guys. We're doing it live, okay? We're doing it live tonight. It's a big night. And as you can see, me and Will are dressed for the occasion. We're trying to be act like we're on that CNN news desk right now. Watching the votes being counted, all that goodness, guys. But what do you think, Will? What do you think? How's it? Well, first of all, Will, you know what? How are you doing, man? How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I got this lined up. Nothing like got my little local barber.
Yeah, you are looking a little fresh. You are looking a little fresh.
Straighten her up with the straight edge razor, like nothing like a blade to your throat. Right before tonight.
Team, comment down below. Let us know how fresh he looks.
So fresh, so fly.
So fresh, so fly.
Yeah, man. Just ready for this full chaos night to play out. The chaos has already started. But you know what else? You know what else is like so fresh and so fly?
Ooh. Tell me.
I think
not too much Buffalo Trace, First Sergeant.
Hey, you calm the fuck down out there.
By the way, guys, actually, thank you for that. Hey, viewer, I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping us dialed in. Guys, we want to don't forget, this live stream is brought to you by our potential sponsor, Buffalo Trace. And we mentioned the chaos of today. And this night, it's going to be a rough one, team. It's going to be a rough one. This bottle was full until I left work today. And now I need to make another run. But that's a whole different story, team. Either way, guys, Buffalo Trace, it'll help you get through the day. All right? Especially through this election night chaos. So thank you for that. Hey, you in the chat, I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping us dialed in. Mr. Lewis Whit W. Thank you.
Lou White coming in hot.
All right, guys. Hey, so as you were saying, though, Will, one, you're looking fresh. I can see you're fresh, a special occasion. I got, I'm pretty sure you got the Ranger panties and blazer on as well, right?
Dude, you got to see this, man. Like, hold on.
Here we go. Show and tell.
Like, so we definitely got the Ranger panties on, but you got to look at this. Like, only you can prevent communism, Ranger panties.
Hey.
Only you can prevent.
Pretty interesting.
Only you can prevent communism.
That's one thing I like, dude. You just never clocked out. Keep going, man. Keep going. Keep going. Hey, Dylan types. Hey, Ola from the 505. Will sucks. My eyes so white. Well, appreciate that, Dylan. And thank you, guys. Hey, feel free, guys. Hey, as you guys are hopping in the chat, let us know. How do you think the night's going to go? All right. It's already a lot of numbers are coming in. Will and I are about to get into this. But comment down below. Comment your thoughts, your predictions, or anything that you've already seen. I'm already seeing, like, there's already footage coming out of, like, people picking up the ballots in, like, Philadelphia, and they're literally being surveilled. Like, people are just following them to, like, from that pickup point to their drop point and to see what's going to go on. There's a lot of craziness going on right now. People are taking pictures in the poll, which obviously you're supposed to have. Correct me if I'm wrong, Will. When I voted today, they said, turn off your phones, turn off your smart watches, put them in your pocket, all that goodness. But somebody took a picture in one of the polls of some weird electronic device on the wall behind one of the clerks sitting there. And they're like, this is definitely classified as a remote device and it shouldn't be authorized in here, So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I'm not going to lie. And we called it. We called it, Will. We called it.
Yeah, I think there's going to be, right, like, we got to be careful, right, of all of the rando shit that's like, the ballot stuffing, the right, like Trump, even before this shit really kind of started kicking off today, was alleging voter fraud in Philly. So people are really fired up in that area. And it depends, like, as far as electronic devices and phones and all of that, like to take pictures. It depends on the state. It depends on the rules, right? So those kind of vary from location to location. So, I know we've got viewers all over the place. So that those stuff are probably different in each location. And so what's normal in one place is not normal in the other. So that's we just got to be careful of what we're saying before, right, like reality comes out, because there's a lot of people that have, right, like they've already said, hey, this is fake, it's rigged, this is right, like it's democracy and everybody's trying to steal shit. Like, hey man, like everybody chill the fuck out for a second. Let's get there, and like we can just, we're gonna have plenty of time to post-mortem this thing after the chaos over the next couple days here.
And do you seriously think it's going to be a couple days?
Yeah, for sure.
You don't think
we're not going to know. We're not going to know tonight, unless you're right. Like, I'm not staying up all damn night, and all of our friends watching are not staying up all goddamn night. So
yeah, unfortunately, I got early work session in the morning. Yeah. You know who you are. Thank you, but yeah. But it's okay.
Can we get a zonk up in this motherfucker? Like, let's go.
I know, right? Hey,
come on, man.
Hey, I mean, come on now.
I'm just saying. I would have done it. Like, I don't know.
Hey, I didn't say that. He speaks solely on his own self opinions. All right, they did not reflect the Comfort and Chaos channel or the thoughts and ideas for all the employees.
I'm a fucking independent contractor over here.
Yeah, who definitely goes off script multiple times.
Yeah, what script?
Yes, you do. Sorry, not sorry. Thanks in the chat. I appreciate it. Hey, cheers and happy election night. I hope it's going well.
There you go. Hey, but we've got to get to one other thing that's looking so fucking amazing tonight.
Ooh. Well, it is a new blazer, man. Thank you.
Well, yeah, no. I'm talking about these amazing flags sitting behind us. Look at that flag. Look at these flags. Solid wood.
Solid wood, team. Solid wood.
Absolutely amazing. My fucking legs look great. You be quiet, Dylan. They're pale. They're pale as shit. They don't get no sun. But these flags, right? And if you follow the channel, you follow our absolutely amazing sponsor, our first sponsor, and what's coming, right? You got to go to handcraftedveteran.etsy.com, use that coupon code, where's my discount, and get one of these amazing flags, right?
Right
down below, it doesn't have to say Comfort. It doesn't have to say that, right? Like, I've got a completely different one sitting in the room. The holiday season's coming up. You want one of these to bring that room together. So go to that handcraftedveteran.etsy.com. Use that coupon code. Where's my fucking discount? Where's my discount?
Yes.
You get 10% off.
Christmas is around the corner, team. Just saying.
Right. And, we've got an absolutely amazing. We just disappeared somebody. There it is.
There we go.
Jamie. God damn it, Jamie.
Holy crap, dude. One more time, I swear. Okay.
But we've got this going on. Hey, that guy up in the corner, who is that?
Oh my God, is that the CEO?
That's the CEO.
Bro, you did not tell me you're going to get the CEO.
Of course I got the CEO online.
Guys, we are not worthy. Hey, seriously, chat, everyone type a thumbs up for the CEO in the chat. Just type that in right now. Just type the thumbs up emoji. Say what's up to the CEO, man. big time. Big shout out to you, dude. I appreciate that. This is the compliments of his heart. Use the link below, man. Seriously. Mr. CEO, how are you doing, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's a crazy night. Hey, thank you for that, Dylan. Thank you, Lewis. I see that. Hey, thumbs up emoji, John K. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for the support and love, and happy election night.
So, yeah, the flags pretty much, I'm glad y'all like them. You know, they definitely come from the heart. And company name, you know, don't tread on me, you know, because
hell yeah,
this is America. So we don't tread.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you, Taryn. I don't mean to interrupt, man.
Don't tread on me. TRED. Don't tread on me. We got to get that logo up on the old website there.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal product, man. Like, right. You can tell it comes from the heart. You can tell, right. That's handmade goodness, right, American made goodness, veteran made goodness.
Solid wood. If you guys are interested, use the information down below. I know some of you are just tuning in the chat. Yo, Pops, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in the chat. Guys, right here. All right. And right there on the screen is the one who can build it for you. Use that link, get the information, give him a custom design. He'll work with you. He'll come up with something.
Right around the corner. You know, Christmas trees represent Pineland. If you know, you know.
Hell yeah. Hey, so right, a veteran, you know, a damn fine American. You know, how are you feeling today, brother?
I'm pretty good. You know, I'm just getting ready to move back home to North Carolina, and normally this wall would have flags all over it, but you know, had to get it all packed up. So
yeah, you had that good household. I saw you on the socials today. You had that good household goods pickup to get ready to head out to North Carolina. So absolutely thank you for again, like just jumping in here, right, with while you're sitting there and with bare bones and the minions running around.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. But so right, like as an American, right, like obviously, right, like this is a very hollow day for all of us. Right, our chance to make our voices heard and our representatives, right, within the government that represent each and every one of us. Right. So what does that kind of like mean to you as we're working through tonight? We're getting some of those results in. Everything's kind of trickling in.
My you know, one of my biggest concerns is the fact that, you know, everyone has difference of opinions, political, religious, you know, just really economic differences. But I just really hope that we can come together as us as a veteran community or us as a nation, and just remember that, you know, people come first and people are people. And, you know, at the end of the day, just being there for your neighbor, being there for each other is really one of the most important things to me.
I love that, man. I love that.
Heck yeah. Well said. Well said. Very, very accurate too. You know, especially transitioning, you know, I like to tell a lot of, obviously, you know, when you're transitioning into, you know, from the active duty side and you're going into the veteran world, you know, it's a tough transition, regardless of what people say. That is a tough one, you know. Now I know personally, and I've mentioned this before in previous episodes here on Comfort and Chaos, but it is a day I truly dread, honestly. I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, but when the reality comes and that day comes, to me personally, you know, I've been one of those that it's like, you know, the Army's all I've ever known, you know. It's always given me that purpose, you know. And so, you know, me personally, man, I'm just saying, knowing you know, it's definitely an incredible journey. And you said, and earlier you said during our pre-episode, you know, social hour, you said a hell of a ride. And you're absolutely right, but at the same time, to me, you got a new ride just starting. You know, your ride's not done. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely. And what I've learned in the last year, 2 years alone has been like astronomically just huge. Just the amount of like self-care and putting the things important in your life that should come first.
No, I agree, man. I agree. And hey, right here, I got a product of what that. Look at what you achieved right here. Look at this. Dude, this is your sweat right here. Hard work and sweat, energy, and time. And it produces this magnificent product, guys. Once again, links down below. I appreciate that. Mr. CEO. The CEO literally is right here, guys. If you want, type up in the chat, say what's up to him. Wish him good luck on his journey as he makes his journey out of the military and into the veteran community back to the East Coast. So, Will, I'm pretty sure a lot of viewers want to know what's the latest update. Where are we at right now, man? We need a sit rep. What is the sit rep? What are we looking like?
Yeah, man. First, I gotta say thank you to JT, Mr. Don't Tread on Me, and thanks for everything, man. And good luck, and hopefully our folks will support you, and hopefully, right, you keep doing the amazing shit that you do out there in North Carolina, brother. So thank you for coming on the channel tonight on our live election night broadcast, and we appreciate it, man.
Of course. Thank you.
You always have a spot here in the Comfort and Chaos team, man. Know that. You're part of the team now, okay?
Have a good night, brother.
You too. Appreciate it.
All right. Now,
right.
we got some
Number
shit
5,
to get to.
What's up?
We got some shit to get to.
Let's do it. Team, let's see where we're at.
All right. We're going to pull up. Do you want the map? What do you want?
I mean, just give us a sit rep right now. What are we looking at?
All right.
I want to check this out. Okay. Here we go. According to NBC News, what do we got here, Will?
Yeah, so right now, right, like here is the current map of what we got, right? So when you look at the results that have come in so far, Trump up 105 this year. These are electoral votes to Kamala Harris 30. It's still extremely, extremely early. Really, the big ones that we're watching right now, and again, right, like very, very early. We are way too close to call. Oh, speaking of too close to call, we got to pull up our drinking game here in a moment.
Wait,
but
what?
So yeah, man, we've got our election night drinking game. Every time one of us says something stupid like too close to call,
were you guys tracking that?
I don't think they were tracking that.
Chat, were you guys tracking that? Because I wasn't tracking that. Is this something you guys, Jamie? What's going on here?
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Anytime you hear too close to call, anytime a state is called, you got to sip the number of electoral votes. Anytime we hear Kamala laughing for over 2 seconds, you got to drink. That's a shot, bro.
Hey, chat, you guys are included in this. We're doing this together. All right, we're doing this together. Number 5 comes in and says, hey, tracking it since 1775. Really, my guy? I did not know that. So thank you. Hey, you guys better be participating on this.
Yeah, so when we look, right, like really, right, a lot of the early votes coming in, Georgia's one of the big ones to watch, right?
Okay.
So really kind of what we're looking at is several key battleground states. If I pull up our battleground only map, right, these are the ones that we're really watching. All right. Now, this is making some assumptions here. We're very early into the night. If you remember the last election, it looked like Trump was absolutely running away with it. I remember I went to bed.
No, you did.
Like I was going to bed. I think it was like 11 East Coast time. And you could watch the meltdowns happening across mainstream media. And by the time I woke up the next morning, it completely flipped. And Biden had taken away. So really what we're primarily looking at here is these states. If everything else kind of flows as it is expected to, these are the ones that are going to decide this election, right? So we've got Georgia, North Carolina early coming in. Right now, Trump up looks like 52-46. The difference
so
in
crazy.
Yeah. So Trump's up in Georgia right now, but again,
So
we've only got 65%
I
of
don't
the
mean to
electorate
interrupt,
in.
Will.
Yeah,
But
go
it
ahead.
says right. Go back over there.
Yeah.
You had write-ins, 570.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see one of those in Colorado too.
So explain the write-ins to me, please.
Right, like I mean, you've got Jill Stein. I don't even know who the fuck Oliver is. I've heard of Jill Stein. Right, like those are your Green Party candidate, and then write-ins, obviously. Right, like 570 people just wrote their own fucking name or whatever.
So I can have wrote your name.
Yeah, bro. Like I wrote my name. So there's that. But the important part here is right. Like we're only 65% in, and if we go like kind of deep dive into this here, right? Like let's just take Georgia for instance.
Yeah.
Right. So really, we're looking up in this area, right? So this is your heavy population center,
Atlanta.
right? That tends to really swing blue, right? Like you look at 82-16, right, for Atlanta, right? As you start getting out towards the suburbs, right? We've got it's a little bit closer, not much.
Yeah.
But she's really cleaned house, right? And then this is the important part, right? Like when you're looking at the percentage in, right?
Mm-hmm.
What percent of the vote has been counted thus far, right? That's kind of important to watch. But it looks like Trump is at least winning primarily Georgia. But again, right, you've only got 65% of the vote in at this point. And you still got several counties not reporting at all. But this is where it gets interesting, right? Especially in these heavy population centers. You got Atlanta, you got Savannah down here. And I think they've probably flipped a couple of these counties down in this area. I think that's down near Savannah, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I believe a few of these went like this whole area was blue last time when we looked at the last election there.
Jeez, man. Okay, so real quick, guys. Yeah. Hey, those of you who are watching the chat, let me know your thoughts. All right. Any of you guys got family in Georgia? Let us know your thoughts. What's going on in Georgia? Why are things taking a little bit longer? Let me know your predictions, guys. Let us know. What are your predictions? How do you think it's going to go? As you can see based off the map that Will just pulled up, you can see it's weird. The whole state, the way I see it, I mean, the whole state literally is all red, except for the major populated areas, Atlanta being the big one. I'm curious. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to go. It's going to be tough, but I'm curious to know your guys' thoughts, and we encourage the interaction, guys. Let me know. We're going to read them out here. Chat comes in, and let me catch up here. So Dealing types, hey, Jesus, RIP your liver. Yes, that is absolutely right. Louis W, hey, laugh my ass off, bro. Y'all going to be in the hospital if that's the rules.
Hey, it's too early to call.
Your input, guys. It is still too early.
Too early to call drink.
Too early to call, but hey, I did think ahead, guys. Okay. I made me a little meal that I'm kind of like, I'm balancing it out. I still got to be functional in the morning. Will, he doesn't have to worry about that kind of stuff no more, but I do. Okay. So I got to be functional. Mini Vato, big shout out to Mini Vato there coming in the chat. Thank you for coming in. Mini Vato. Hey, you don't forget, make sure you do your homework. It's funny. I'm glad you're here. So low key, guys, I'm curious to know too. And Will, I'm curious to know, what is your son like? Do you talk to your son about politics? And what is his current thoughts? Because obviously that information right now, I mean, it's put out there in the masses, and kids got cell phones. The media is just flooded. And that information is just over there. And I'm just curious, man, do you talk to him, or does he talk to you, or ever bring it up?
Oh yeah, man. Like, obviously in school, right? The school that he's in, they do civics, they do a limited amount. The teachers do a really good job of balancing, and giving out general facts on, hey, this is how the system works. This is, these are the candidates, right? And they kind of generally cover it without going into too much depth, right? He's 11, so we're not diving in. Yeah. We're not diving in super deep, but we definitely talk about it. He listens to a few different podcasts and stuff like that. Like while I'm in the car, while I'm jamming out to my podcast, and I try to ensure there's a balance there, and we're not going into anything too heavy. So we have those discussions. I don't know. What about you, man? Like, how do you deal with that one?
A lot of it is I engage him. I'll ask him, what do you understand? What do you know? And what would you like to know? And we'll definitely engage it from there. And then I let him know my own common sense, like analysis, but I always am curious, like, hey, what's the scuttlebug amongst the kiddos, in the schools?
Sure.
And he literally, it was crazy because I was talking to my boy today, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, Dad, did you vote? And I said, yeah, I voted. And he said, well, all the kids in school, they all want Trump to win. They don't want Kamala to win. Like, this is what the kids are saying, and all she wants is war. And that's what the kids are saying in his class,
Where's he's in San Antonio, right?
No, New Mexico.
Oh, in New Mexico?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, we'll be interested to see how that map shakes out. That's interesting.
I mean, that has always been a blue one, man. It always went blue.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know that they've put it, several news outlets have kind of put it into the a toss-up. I don't think it's a toss-up, man. That's where I'm from too. Obviously, and I don't see that one as a toss-up. But that'll be interesting tonight to see if how much of that vote kind of potentially shifted. Dylan talking about he wishes New Mexico would flip. It'll be interesting.
Dylan, that would be interesting, man. That would be interesting. 5 types in the chat. Hey, it takes time to switch out votes. That's why Georgia is taking forever.
That is not true.
Be careful, man. True. We're not trying to spread misinformation here. All right. But interesting analysis, though.
It's only like a few million things you got to count in, a couple hours. Hey, whatever, man. Like, come on now. Hey. I see a good friend of mine jumped in. We got another special guest tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we do. We got another special guest tonight joining us. I know at some point we're going to have him on for our deep dive Dead Drop episode.
Dead Drop.
Right, where we can really get into depth on this very special man who I had the pleasure of serving with at 10th Group. He is a fine American, was one of my NCOs back in the day, and then he then he went and sold out and became a warrant officer. He's shaking his head. He's like, yep, fuck yeah, I did. I got that money. And now currently out in Hawaii, joining us all the way from Hawaii. Let us all be welcome to Mr. Thomas Davis. What's up, brother?
Hey, gentlemen. How's it going?
How you doing, bud?
It is a beautiful 81 degrees right now in Hawaii.
Whoa. I already like this guy, Will, because I see some over his right shoulder in the back there.
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Is
that one of our sponsors?
Wish.
Lou White just said, hey, Georgia's too close to call, so dilly.
Oh, dilly. Hey, just to catch you up, brother. Aloha, and thank you for joining.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. I love seeing veterans like yourselves actually engaged and caring about this next step in our service to our nation. So it's it's awesome to see you guys out here.
Oh, that's
Thanks,
awesome.
brother.
Man, I'm
Thank you
touched.
for coming on, man. Like I know,
I'm touched.
like it's real hard mid-afternoon to not already be drunk today, or on the beach, doing your Hawaiian time thing. Because
Yeah.
I absolutely
yeah.
love it out there. You're in 80 degrees. It's currently, I think, snowing where I am. We're getting our first good snow of the season. I think it's
I actually miss Hawaii.
Yeah, like I think we're getting like 1 to 5 inches. That's what she said. So it'll be great. So how are you seeing it today, man? Like, you already get your vote in, or did you hit it early?
Yeah. So I did the early voting. It's interesting the perspective that I see because I recently graduated from law school, and a lot of the people that I went to school with, a lot of them were legislative assistants before they went to school or during their school. So they get like an insight as to kind of the chaos going on, and it's everybody's just shrugging their shoulders, going, "We don't know." And this is kind of one of the wild situations that we have. It's going to be late till tonight, and maybe even to tomorrow, where we're just staring at each other, going, "What is going on?"
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I think we have a general idea of the map at this point. Like we like, again, right? Like a general idea. Like there's a couple of toss ups that are, we were just talking about New Mexico. They're not really a toss up, right? Like Hawaii is not turning fucking red, right? Like it's just, that's not a thing, right?
No.
So I mean, several of the news outlets have already been able to call certain states, that are like, oh yeah, we've got 1% of the vote in, solid Kamala. Like it's not even a question. And so really, like, I mean, it's really just I think it's gonna come down to a few states, and I think you're dead on, man, when we're talking about like, hey, it might be tomorrow. Like, I don't think we're gonna get a real solid answer tonight. I think we're gonna be able to
I hope not, man. I hope not. Okay. I got my fingers crossed. I get it, but I do got my fingers crossed because, dude, it's that midnight hour. That's when the sus comes out, and I just want to mitigate all the sus. Like, I'd rather just be like, hey, dude, you know what? Let's have a clean one. Here's the results. Boom. Call it a day. We'll see y'all in the morning. But
I think what really is going to throw us for a loop is the recent changes, like in places like Pennsylvania and Georgia, and like different counties and how they count, because they had this fear. Republicans had this fear of election fraud, and they implemented these different measures within these counties that, man, it's going to delay the count. And
yeah, I mean, I know that they were talking about like some real wild shit, like in Georgia, where they were, some of those red districts where they were like, we're gonna hand count all of these ballots, and you're like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, do you understand what that's gonna do? Like, that's gonna cause so much chaos and division instead of being able to go, hey, like we ran it through this fucking machine that, guess what, it fucking does it for you, and it will highlight any anomalies, and like it's a known thing that like is well vetted, well trusted. Like this is not anything fucking nefarious. And they're gonna like, they're like, no, we're gonna put eyes on every single one of them. Well, like, dude, that's gonna take 3 days. Like, what year are we fucking in?
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was kind of afraid of coming into this, and I was like, man, I remember some of those, electoral, the vote counters that were victims of disinformation, and man, I just remember the two ladies in Georgia that had to go into hiding because conservatives were sharing, wild accusations. Now, they cleaned house in the civil litigation. Post, and it's interesting when those are open records, you can just read exactly how the trial went, and I think they got 10 million apiece from Rudy Giuliani, but yeah,
Really?
I don't remember off the top. Like, yeah, they
Well,
cleaned house.
they got a judgment for 10 million, and they're currently selling all of Giuliani's shit to try and collect it, which is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah, this is weird. He was, America's, mayor in 9/11. I mean, I don't know anybody who didn't love him and was, rooting for him, and then just a fall from grace to what he is now today.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, right? I mean, was a very well respected. He was a lawyer, right? Like,
I mean,
judge.
He supposedly like cleaned up the streets with like the mob, basically.
Oh yeah.
He took a huge step in kind of reforming and cleaning up New York City from, organized crime.
Yeah, when I was a kid, Times Square was just like porn shops and strip clubs. It was a rough place, and then he cleaned it up and brought in Disney and Times Square, and it is today because of Rudy Giuliani and his aggressive stance on certain types of crime and businesses.
Yeah. I want to jump to the map real quick, man. We got it pulled up. So earlier, it looks like Georgia currently reporting 69% diggity. And Trump up looks like 52-46, but again, right, like a lot of those.
Yeah, that's still too close to call.
There's still a lot of very populated areas. North Carolina, this is interesting. So they're 41% in. Trump up 51-46, really 52.
That was a change.
That is a change.
Hour and a half.
Yeah,
that's a big change.
She was up pretty hefty during some of the initial rollouts when they were like 5-10% in. So obviously some roaring back. We can jump into that state and see what we got. And take a look at some of like the population centers.
So real quick, Will, I don't mean to interrupt, but we had some of the chat here ask some questions. So Jeremiah types in the chat, hey, from y'all's perspective, what are some key topics at stake for this year's election? And I can go ahead. I'll share my 2 cents if you guys don't mind. But I think a big one, man, and this is coming from me and my foxhole, but foreign policy. I think that's going to be a heavy hitter for the next coming, probably the next 2 years, I would say. There's right now, I mean, you just watch the news. There's a lot of moving pieces, between countries and sending forces and supporting forces from, me and Will just did an episode on North Korea, sent this many troops, almost 8,000 now, I believe, Will, correct me if I'm wrong, but now over 8,000 soldiers. I mean, we haven't seen movement like that since World War II. If you do the math, do the math. And you're seeing, between that and what's going on in the Middle East, and that on struggle, and then what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. And you see that there's going to be it's going to come down to some big foreign policy and what are our left and right limits as a country and where's that going to lead us into? I mean, that's something that we got to think about. And I would say this next 4 years, whoever's going to be in this seat, they're going to have some decisions to make, But I'm curious to know, what are you guys' thoughts on that? At least what the question is.
Tom, go ahead.
Yeah. So that's interesting, man. That's North Korean division in a large-scale combat operations against Ukrainian forces equipped with modern NATO equipment. And I'm excited to see the stuff that's going to come out on YouTube. Like it's going to be. I love sharing, because I was a drone guy towards the end of my career. I love sharing the crazy ways they're using $500 drones. I mean, like my favorite is they're drone operators dropping white phosphorus on a tree line, smoking out Russian troops. They're just like entrenched Russian troops. You're like, my God.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
that Willie P.
That next level terrifying, because we took for granted like how afraid our enemy forces were of drones. Like they when the flying lawnmower got over them, we've struck fear. But now,
Oh yeah,
next fight, we are going to have that fear. And I do
Oh
not
yeah.
envy ground troops and FOBs and
I
trying
mean,
to
I'm
actually
watching,
hear
and I'm
that.
pretty sure everybody sees those videos. Like, I feel for those Ukrainians, man, and those. I mean, for both. I mean, I'm just not like, I understand the war, I understand, but obviously, those of us, you've been there, you've done that. You don't want to see that. Like, regardless, you don't want to see that. Let's figure it out another outcome here. And when I'm watching those videos and I'm seeing them just put all over social media, I'm like, these drones dropping grenades, and you can literally see the dude like saying his last prayer. Like, he's literally, because he knows he's about to die. He sees the drone. There's not a single human in sight, but he sees a drone, a machine just flying around, and he knows
let's be real. He sees like a fucking DJI, like a cheap Chinese fucking knockoff DJI. Just,
but it's that idea. It's capability, man. It's that capability. Yeah. That's what's crazy. It's that capability. It's no longer eye to eye combat. It's no longer, you don't look at the face of the one who killed. Like, you're looking at a screen or a machine and you're dead, and you're in pieces.
That's why Elon needs to hurry up, fuck up, man. Like, get them fucking iRobots out. Like, because let's be real. That's probably the next gen of warfare. It's even more terrifying when the fucking T-800s come walking into your village. Like, super wild shit, man.
Damn.
I think for local policy, for domestic policy, I think people haven't taken into consideration that the next 4 years, if Trump's elected, and he has the possibility probably replacing 2 more Supreme Court justices with Justice Thomas and Sotomayor. They are old. They are senior people, and 4 more years of this is going to be, could be rough on them, and eventually, I imagine they want to check out and retire.
I don't mean to jump off topic, man, but I know. So with your legal experience and your legal understanding on how that pans out, and Will, you can chime in too. So I'm curious, how do they? I mean, check like their mental capacity, their understanding. Like,
they don't.
It's all on them.
I'm just saying, like, I mean, you're a Supreme Court justice. How do they? I mean, you remember, like, how we do, like, an ACFT. We got to check your readiness. We got to check your med pros. We got to check your medical. Like, we got to make sure you're good. Check your hearing, check your vision. Do you think at that level, do they have to go through some kind of like, hey?
Nope.
And
that's all. Right. And they're brilliant. Believe me, they are still. Like, it blows you when you talk to them. It blows you away. But the last time we had a liberal court was the 1960s Warren Court. Republicans have since been the Warren Court, have controlled the Supreme Court since. So with Clarence Thomas potentially retiring and then Justice Sotomayor potentially retiring too, that adds another conservative justice. And this will be an ultra young conservative court that will be on there for 30 years. Like, Trump's justices could potentially be on there for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, really, like RGB, right? Or RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, right? Like, that's a perfect example. Like, she should have stepped out, arguably, before. Right, and allowed essentially, right? Like, if she would have been thinking through that problem set long term, right? If she steps out during it was Obama, like, she steps out because she was getting up there. I think she even like fell and like broke a fucking hip or something, right? Like, and she was like, "Nah, I'm fucking fine. Like, leave me alone. Like, I've got this shit. Like straight gangster, right? Like, I love it, but like." When you start thinking about it, for the long term, like, if she would have stepped out, right, that would have at least kept it even moving, probably right into Trump's term, where he would have gotten 1 instead of getting 2, and at least would have
3. Yeah. So Trump got 3. He got
Kavanaugh?
But
Kavanaugh.
it's hard to describe about like how the game changed
meatloaf.
in the Senate.
Hey,
You know?
introduce.
No, she said absolutely not.
Tyler, come say hi. Household 6, come say hi. Make it face.
She just brings me the go-go juice.
Oh, nice. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. There's nothing. The Constitution says that the president, gets to nominate, and the Senate essentially approves. But it doesn't say when it has to approve. So
Yeah.
It was just like an administrative rule within the Senate that like, hey, 3 months out before presidency, we don't do hearings on appointments, and then it changed to 6, and then when Justice Scalia died, they bumped it to a year. So
yeah,
it's.
I think it blows my mind that there's no way to monitor their mental capacity and decision making and just their readiness for that position. I mean, it's such a, I don't know, it just blows my mind. That's all. It's I don't know who thought of that. Our founding fathers, when they came up with that, I'm just like, dude, what were you guys thinking? Like, I'm just curious. What was in mind when you're just like, yeah, we'll have the same person? Because think about it, in the military, imagine if you were to have the same company commander for like your whole career in the Army. There's no command. We rotate for a reason. Command has a command time. Senior enlisted advisors have their time, like, because you need the mission. Everything adapts. Leadership adapts. Command and control adapts. Even though the task will be the same. That M4 range will never change. That'll be there. But is the way who's going to command and control and how they're going to operate, how they're going to execute, that's what's going to be changing. Those decisions.
But you're not talking command and control, and I'll let the fucking
I know
the constitutional scholar fucking school you here in a second.
You know what I'm talking about, though. You're in a position of authority. That's just what it is. You're in a position of authority. You got to own that role and own those responsibilities. And at some point, if you cannot be physically
okay, I see where you're going.
You're pass it down. Like somebody else may have an understanding and they have a new interpretation and understanding and new experience to bring to that role. Why then do you have to hold it for the next 20 years when you have somebody qualified who can give even more time? But that's just what I'm saying. That's just my train of thought when it comes to that,
Yeah. I don't know how much the ego comes into play. I mean, you were talking about.
I bet they got a big old ego.
There are no dumb Supreme Court justices. They
exactly
have a fundamental disagreement on certain things, on the interpretation of the Constitution. And I would tell you, most law students, when you get to law school, constitutional law is one of the most pumped classes. Like, people get excited for that because the large amount of people go to law school. There are crusaders. They want to make a world a better place. Then they get into $300,000 or $400,000 in student loans, and they're like, okay, I can't be a crusader. I need to go work for this big firm and then sell my soul to the devil. But you go into constitutional law pumped, and you leave angry and confused. And it doesn't get any better when you take constitutional law too.
That was me in algebra. That was me in algebra.
Every single law student has to take constitutional law 1. And they talk about the doctrines of interpretation, this strict textualism, liberalism, and then they talk about these doctrines like we're supposed to adhere to them, and then you read this, they start going through these.
I think we lost them.
Oh no,
it's that Hawaii Wi-Fi, man.
Yeah,
the winds came in. Hey, let me catch up here with the chat though. So So as you establish that connection here, let me catch up here. So Lewis White types in, as far as the question when it comes to policy, foreign policy polled at 7%. My question is, what is the abortion play? Ooh, that is another interesting one. Man, you know what? To be honest with you, though, that abortion one, though, just based off the trend, that's just something that's just not gonna. It's not going to go away because it teeter-totter. You know, if you go back to all the way from like, what was it, the 1950s and 1960s when they first were like, hey, give it back to the states. You know, we don't want federal control, you know, and it bounced back and forth. But I feel like that abortion one, honestly, is going to be a policy that is going to definitely be, I don't know if it's going to go away anytime soon, Will, to be honest with you.
No, and we got Tom back, but I'll throw in my 2 cents, right? Like, so the way that currently, and we can pull back up the map here in a second, but it looks like at minimum, the Republicans are probably going to keep control of the House. There's a decent chance they take the Senate because they've already picked up 1 seat. They're going to probably pick up Montana, which will give them the 2. They're gonna pick it up. I would bet on that one, unless there's any major surprises, right? So now you're talking, hey, there's legally, like from a legal perspective, and luckily we've got a lawyer dude on the channel here. Legally, right, from that perspective, right? Like they're not going to pass any kind of legislative action bringing that back up to the forefront. It's going to remain at the state level, at least for
abortion.
Yeah, I mean, and Tom, what do you think on that one? Like, I don't care. I don't care if Kamala Harris wins the presidency. Like, that's probably going to remain exactly where it sits. Now, you can talk some executive actions that could open up the aperture a little bit, but you know, at least on the federal side, because we've seen that already. Abortions are legal. Like, cool story, bro. I don't give a shit. Like, you have a right to be able to choose and do what you want to do, and like have a nice day. And if we have to fly you out to a different state, we'll cover that. Not a problem, right? So, I mean, I could see some like on the federal policy side wise opening the aperture, but I don't see anything changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think there's a road to where the federal government, no matter who's in charge of it, has the ability to elect a law that outright bans, abortions. I look at it from a perspective that that the overturning of Roe v. Wade ended up creating essentially an abortion tourism system where people that were in states that terminated the right for women to choose, the ones that can afford it will be able to travel. The ones that can't afford it are going to end up being stuck doing either having a child, and a child that they arguably they didn't want, and then like, man, have you ever been inside of like a seen like an old hidden abortion clinic before?
Oh, the black market stuff. Yeah, like I mean, it's terrifying.
That would scare me.
It's terrifying.
It is. My ex-wife, her brother is autistic, and he lives in a community home that was a mansion that a family gave to the state to hold, care for autistic children. But the guy was a doctor and he used to do abortions when they were illegal. And they kept all the facilities in the basement. They show you the car drives into the garage. There's a passageway underground that goes into the basement where there's like a medical slab. It is terrifying. You're like, I don't want to do that to women. Like, you're just like, we can't allow this to be the only option for poor people to have medical procedures in the darkest.
Uh-oh.
And we lost him again for a second.
Bro.
Oh, wait,
Man,
he's back.
There we
Oh
go.
God, you guys keep on losing. Sorry,
Hey.
I'm on the McDonald's internet here.
Yeah, what part of the island do you live on right now?
I'm in town, man. I live right behind Ala Moana Mall. I got a great view of.
Man, you
Ala
got the
Moana
nice
Beach
spot
Park.
then. Okay, you're in town. Nice. When I was there, I lived up in Wailua. I had a nice little spot
Oh
in
yeah,
Wailua.
nice.
And I liked it.
Yeah, on the abortion thing, right? Like, if and I don't think it doesn't look like they're going to take a complete bath on the Republican side, but I mean, if Trump loses, right? Like, arguably that was the issue. I think that you could very easily make the argument. You can throw the January 6th shit out there, like, cool. That obviously is going to sway voters, right? But I think for the you take a look at where the American public sits on that issue, right? The Republicans are upside down on it, hands down. They.
I honestly think, man, like both parties just literally are both just kind of like, oh yeah, that thing. We'll get to that. I think they both are just.
I don't think the
like,
Democrat. I don't think. No, I
don't think anyone really wants
there.
to touch that. Honestly,
no, I disagree. I think they're both drastically pushing for a very different view. I just think that the Republicans are upside down, right? Like, they are not in line. That is one of the issues. That's, if you look at like the main issues during this election: the economy, immigration, inflation, right? Like, Republican plus 15, 20 on just about every single issue, except for that.
You got to think, man. Abortion,
like, that's
only
the one
affects
that, like,
a certain percentage of the population. Security
just
and
half,
economy,
like, whatever.
Security and economy affects everybody. Like,
sure,
that affects even everybody. The single dads. Those. I mean, it affects everybody.
Hold on a second though, but I'm gonna pull something up, right? Like, let me see. If
Okay, pull some up. Hey, let's catch up here real quick with the chat though. I don't want to leave them here strange. So real quick, we'll catch up here. So Dylan types, hey, those drone videos of the phosphorus is nuts. It's beautiful and terrifying at the same time. I totally agree. Hyperin Prime says, yerp. Thanks, Dan. Hey, the issue is that RGB should have retired before Trump's term. It would have helped the Dems. Oh, that's an interesting analysis. Thank you for sharing that. Dylan types, hey, fresh faces are fresh ideas. See, I agree. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks for getting my back on this one. That's exactly right. Fresh faces, fresh ideas, fresh minds, So thank you for that, Dylan. Hey, Hyper and Prime says, hey, but there are shady Supreme Court judges. Really? There are shady Supreme Court judges. Ooh.
I think that's based on your your political leaning. I don't know about that.
But I gotta tell you, there's sometimes I question, like, I don't have friends that pay for my grandchildren to go to private schools. I mean, Will, if you want to pay for my daughters to go to private school, I'd be happy.
No fucking way.
But it's what I think there's. I wish that we would have a open conversation about amending the Constitution. It's long overdue. Considering.
And
dude, it's all right. I got a special guest as well to come join in this conversation.
I found this thing. I had to record this earlier. I recorded this off my TV. We were talking about we were talking. Okay,
shout out Juggernaut. I appreciate it, Chonch. Hey, I don't mean to interrupt, Will. Before you do, let's catch up here. So Grissom Barclay types in, hey, Dad, who do you think will win?
Oh, Lord.
Juggernaut, appreciate that, man. Too soon to claim Senate, but I agree in regards to the House. Yes, it is actually true. The way things are looking like, even if Kamala wins, she is going to have to face a Republican majority Senate. So you got to love the checks and balances system, team. Thank your founding fathers. All right. Lewis White types in, hey, should drink every time you lose the link.
Jesus.
I'm gonna
Sounds like it's going to hurt too much. I'm too old for that,
hey,
man.
you got that Buffalo Trace back there, brother. So you good. That's what we're sipping on here. Juggernaut types in, hey man, forcing women to have children works for the government. It continues to establish reliance on government assistance such as welfare, Title 14, housing subsidies, etc. Huh. Okay.
You could kind of make that argument.
I mean, we got
guess,
the
but I
lawyer
don't
in
know
the
about-
house. Let's see what your thoughts
Oh,
are on
God.
that.
Yeah,
don't
remember,
touch
guys. I gotta pass the bar first. So first thing I had to do is do that. So I haven't achieved that status yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I understand. I do agree that we spend money in an insane way, and I don't think we
Oh,
do
yeah.
it the most ethical way or humane way. Like it's I think we do have to kind of relook in how our government spends money and what are we attempting to achieve. But yeah, it's a tough issue.
Like what was it? 28 billion on internet. Was it? I think it was billion on internet for rural communities. Passed in 2021. Thank you, Joe Biden. They have hooked up 0 human beings to the fucking internet at this point. Love that for them. But so, all right, I got to show this video. This shit cracked me up. I had to fucking record it. I recorded it off the TV from CNN earlier.
All right, do it up. And then we're going to bring in, we got another, we got our female correspondent wants to come in here and lay in some 2 cents as well.
Hell yeah. All right.
How Joe Biden did in 2020. I'm joined now by a voter, Brian Flores. You just voted.
I did.
And who did you vote for?
For Harris.
And tell me about how you came to this decision.
So I wasn't gonna vote at all until my girlfriend was blowing up my phone telling me to go vote. And if I didn't, she was gonna break up with me. So now
Oh, that just shit.
You soy boy.
Like, that just cracks me up. You fucking soy boy cuck.
You soy boy.
Oh shit. I wasn't gonna vote. My fucking girlfriend told me she was gonna bring it with
Hey,
me.
word to the wise guys. That guy, do not go to him to help you change a tire because more than likely he doesn't know how. He's got to call his girlfriend. I'm just going to throw that out there right now. Okay.
That cracked me. That one just cracked me.
You know
up.
what? That's a
That was
perfect
on
segue.
CNN.
Hey,
though.
that's a perfect segue for us to bring in our female correspondent here for the Comfort and Chaos team. And let's get her 2 cents on that man voting because his woman told him to. What up, Cassie?
Cassie.
Hello.
So what are your thoughts on that? I'm pretty sure you heard the video. Did you see that? So basically this guy, he was getting interviewed. He voted for Harris because his girlfriend told him to, basically. Essentially, he wasn't going to get, I don't know, cheeks or something if he didn't vote for her. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cassie, blink twice if Gabe fucking is holding you hostage.
Blink twice if you need help.
Gabe, blink 3 times if Cassie will cut you if you give the wrong answer.
That was more than 3 times.
Oh man. Hey, thank you for that, Mealy. We need to cover. Let me catch up with the chat. We're gonna get right back to you, Cassie. Okay. Over under which city will riot? A soldier asked me that question. Ooh, over under which city will riot? What do you guys? What are your thoughts on that? That's a great question.
Hopefully, none of them.
Hopefully none of them. That's for sure. But I easily foresee. Let me see. I mean, Philadelphia, maybe. I would think.
I think
Philly riots over anything.
Yeah,
I mean, they do though. That's just what I'm saying. They riot over anything. So it's like they're
They riot
standing
over
by.
daylight
They're
savings
all in a
time.
mass text. They're like, "Gosh,
riot
it's been about 6 months. We haven't had a riot. We need an excuse to riot. Hey, election day. Let's go. Let's get that riot going." I mean, I would say, okay, so my money's on Philly. I
That's
bet
smart
you that
money.
would be the first city to riot. What are you guys' thoughts? If there were a riot, hypothetically, we don't condone or endorse riots here, guys. Stay away from that. Stay peaceful. Drink Buffalo Trace and get some sleep. Those are our thoughts. But if there were, hypothetically, what are your guys' thoughts? Type them in the chat. We want to know the chat. Will, Cass, Tom, I want to know. What do you guys think?
I have no idea, but the first thing that came to mind when I heard riot was Minneapolis. 'Cause the whole George Floyd thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that, but I don't think for election.
No,
They're already
that's
kind
just
of
the first
primary
thing that
blue,
came to
right?
mind when I'd heard riot.
Minneapolis is pretty much blue. They're a blue state.
Yeah, I mean, unless the state went red, and I'm looking at them right now. They're only 0.4% in. So we're not there yet. Wisconsin, we got 18% in. Harris up 51-47. That's really early to call. I think prediction wise, she's going to take Wisconsin and Michigan. Michigan 14% in, 52-45 Harris. The interesting ones, right, are Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia at this point. But we can get to that in a second. I think Philly smart money. Like if PA goes red, like sure, Philly will riot. Why not?
Okay.
Like Tom said, like they riot over daylight savings time. It'll be fine. Like
that's true.
They got this shit. That was funny too. Watching all the blue cities like start boarding up, like all the major blue cities start boarding all their shit up. Like fuck, like this might get bad. Like everywhere else, they're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like all the major blue cities, they're boarding shit up. Like they know what's.
Oh,
coming.
they already
like,
know. They already know.
Onion. Either way it goes, like we're either having a party riot, we're having an angry riot, we're having a happy riot.
Any reason to riot. Exactly.
I don't know what kind of riot we're gonna have, but we're gonna have a fucking riot.
Any reason to riot.
Okay.
So I guess so there you go. You have a team on what? The majority we're kind of voting. We're probably see Philly. Let's see. That's the over-under right now. Philly. We'll see what happens. We do got some other questions in the chat here. Let's see. Reliance on government assistance and subsidies has historically been the norm and go-to in poverty-stricken Black communities and ghetto. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, they were just making a comment based off the conversation you guys had previously. I'm assuming that's what that chat was. It was.
I think that's kind of generic, a generic oversimplification of an issue. I like that next one, right? Like, what influenced your selection? I'm sorry. No, what's the single most important issue that influenced your vote?
Ooh, Andrew Mealy. Shout out Andrew Mealy. Appreciate that, man. That was my driver.
I can take this
19 Delta back in the day.
Yeah. What you got?
Go for it, Tom. Share.
So Citizens United. Citizens United is a Supreme Court case that the conservative justices basically came out and said, hey, corporations essentially have First Amendment rights similar to what an individual has. And that is the creation of essentially dark money in politics. And I don't know how we're ever going to recover from Citizens United. So to me, the Obama administration and our Attorney General fought hard against presenting the best case we possibly can to the Supreme Court and saying, hey, this is going to just destroy the system and really weaken our individual votes. And we can't say that money doesn't affect politics and that just we see the advertisements. We know money affects politics. So allowing corporations, to basically do whatever they want with their money, it changed the game.
And now you look at like the amount of money that has been dumped in on both sides. Like both sides are completely fucking entrenched, right? Like, and you make a really good point about, right? Like, really the Dems kind of initially fought against this, right? Like the Republicans saw it as, okay, we can kind of even some of the playing field financially, potentially, and it really actually fucked them, I think, overall, when you look at like the amount raised, right? Like Trump being an outlier, right? Like he has single-handedly like upped the Republican game outside of anything that they had traditionally been able to pull. And without him, like the Democrats outraise and outspend 2-1. I mean, arguably, I mean, it's absolutely insane. And so now, right, do they continue to fight like, oh no, that was really bad? Like, no, fuck no, they're not going to do that. They're going to be like, oh, no. Like, yeah, it sucks, but like, I'm going to keep suckling at that teat. Nom, 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 nom. Like, they're not fucking going anywhere, man.
Yeah.
Cass, what about you, man? Like, what single thing influenced your vote during this election?
Yes. What was the single most important issue?
Say,
I
Gabe.
don't know if I can say without
You can do this.
hinting who I voted
You can do
for.
this. You can do it. Just say what was the issue that you voted on?
You can pass.
You know, I mean, if you want, you can think about it, and I'll say mine real quick.
Okay.
So I'll tell you mine, and this will answer Lewis's question as well. You know, but so I would say, you know, obviously I mentioned before foreign policy. You know why? Because that affects me. It affects my soldier. It affects my job. It affects my lifeline. And it affects everything that I know. You know, so foreign policy is very important. I pay attention to that. You know, secondly is the money. You know, money in your pocket. You know, money in your wallet. You know, I have lately, and just a boots on ground assessment right now. You know, is I've been, and this is just a good example. Is let's say the barbershop. I'm just going to use the barbershop on base, for example. All right, within the last year, the price for just getting a haircut. And I only say this because it's not because of me. I think about the soldiers. I think about soldiers, these E4s, E3s that live in the barracks. They don't get paid that much, but yet they still have to go get those haircuts. You know, they have to do that. And I'm seeing this. I've seen the price go in the span of a year, go from $12.97 just on the window, that sticker window at the AFES barbershop right there, $12.95 to now $19.95 in the span of a year. I kid you not. I kid you not. Right here, right now, that is what the price is. And these soldiers, it's like the pay hasn't changed for them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not changing, but everything around them is going up. And then it's like, dude, what are you going to do about that though? You know, who are you going to take care of? Because this is the fighting force. Because based off your foreign policy decisions, these are the ones who are going to go forward. You know, they're going to go do the job. You know, so what are you doing to take care of them? You know, so those are just some of the issues that I took in mind. Close hold, just kind of close hold, you know. But that's kind of what I use. And I'm not saying who I voted for, but I'm just letting you guys know these are just considerations that I think about, you know, security, foreign policy, and of course the money in your pocket, guys. You know, in the end, I mean, you guys have heard me before in the past episodes. I mean, you know my thoughts. In the end, ain't none of them. They don't care about me. They don't even know who I am. They don't know I exist. You know,
they will.
Right? Okay. Hey, never mind.
Robert Paulson.
Jamie. All right. Hey, let's see. Our female correspondent. What do you got?
I would say that I agree with you. And so the biggest influence for me is where I see myself in the future, what's going on in the future. So looking towards that. And then you think about where you were 4 years ago, how you were doing 4 years, 8 years ago versus how you're doing now, and what that's going to look like in the future. That has been a big influence because teachers are the same way. You know, everything's going up and we really, the paycheck really hasn't made that much of a difference in helping. And, you know, in the future, I've even started looking at, what can I do to get a second income? Do I need to get a second job? Can I do something that would make passive income? Like, I feel that
Oh, you're not alone.
you
There's a lot of
shouldn't
people.
have to.
I know
You shouldn't
soldiers
have to
doing
do
that.
You shouldn't have to do that, especially me. Well, not especially me. I'm saying, so I spent the time, money, and energy to get a master's degree. Not that big of a deal, but and I'm feel like in the future, I shouldn't be looking into a second income or a second job. Because I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have what I think is a good job, and it's still not making. It scares me for the future where it's not going to be enough because of where things are going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me, it was a combination of, yes, the economy, right? Like when you look at, you can look at the economy in a multiple different facets. And this was the argument that the Democrats were making for the most part, was like, hey, you look at wages have never been higher. You look at, hey, the stock market has never been higher. True, accurate, right? Like that's great. When you look at real wages and inflation and what caused a spike in inflationary spending, right? A lot of it was COVID policy, where we were in a big uncharted territory. Got it. Like 2 points. Fair enough. And really, right, Trump started it before the Biden administration took over. But they really continued it and then ramped it up as far as government spending and increasing the amount of we'll call them free dollars. They're not free dollars that were being handed out, right? Which was further causing an inflationary spike. And you look at the policies in this is my opinion, as far as the Democrats versus Republicans. The Democrat policies, I think, would increase that further. And when you talk about voting for the lesser of two evils in that respect, I went one way and not the other, and I don't really make it a secret on which direction I voted. That was a huge one. Immigration policy being another one. I think that's a massive issue inside the U.S. right now. And you look at major cities ostensibly talking about, hey, if this continues for another term, we're beyond bankrupt. Like we cannot keep doing this. So either way, some massive changes need to happen. And I look at the two candidates, one being currently in office, pseudo in office, right? Vice president, and
yeah, we did an episode on this.
Yeah, not coming up with massive.
Let's see that NCOER, that OER.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
Right, like
see it.
Yeah, right. Hey, you cannot offer yourself as the change candidate while you are currently sitting next to the man who's sitting in office.
Exactly.
And I'm not a hard Republican, voter. I'm fairly independent. If a Tulsi Gabbard had run,
I saw you wearing a MAGA hat earlier this morning.
No fucking way. If a Tulsi Gabbard or a solid centrist Dem had run, that probably changes the math for me. But it didn't. We got arguably, one of the most progressive, ran to the left of fucking Bernie Sanders 4 years ago, humans, who has changed every single policy view and a complete fucking chameleon and could not give a straight answer or a straight fucking interview for this entire cycle. That for me did it in. Like that was it for me.
Damn.
So, that's my 2 cents.
Well, I love all the. I mean, everybody, every single one of you had an amazing answer. And you know what the cool thing is? Like, you didn't just blurt an answer. You actually had an explanation for your answer. You know, and that's how you know it's meaningful. You know,
And it's
that's
viewpoint, right? Like you can
It is.
completely
That's
be
what a
like,
valid
hey, like
viewpoint is,
I
you know?
completely disagree. And I know Tom fucking disagrees with everything I say, and I love him for it. And it's okay. Like we have some topics where we're both like, oh, fuck yeah, like we're both on the same, we're both right there. And there's a lot where we're like, no, man, I fundamentally disagree, and I would go a different direction. But we're like, we were joking about this earlier. Like his riot and my riot will fucking meet up at some point, and we're gonna trick them into fighting each other. Like, like that's you know, each other as humans, and we have a disagreement on direction and policy, and that's okay. We can have that discussion, and there's actually more common ground than you would think when you actually have discussions based on like some form of fact and not like you know, the fucking space alien, the space alien, flat earthers, you know, this is the direction, the moon landing was fake. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
wait, you mean that shit was real?
So, hey guys, I wanted to say thank you for letting me onto your show. I wanted to kind of lead with this. I think the best thing that no matter what the results are tonight, the best thing is that the vice president's going to be a veteran. So, and it's going to be a veteran, a former enlisted soldier who used his GI Bill to get an education and to further, you know, their service to our nations. And we have been at the lowest point of veterans in service. And I really hope that we see what we saw post World War II, where, you know, the men and women that came back from the wars went into industry and then
I cannot applaud you enough. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So I look forward to voting for either one of you gentlemen, ma'am, for Congress or the Senate. I'm excited to see you guys
Will
do great
2028.
things for this. Yeah.
Well, we all
Will's
know
way 2028. Campaign
thank you,
sponsored by
gentlemen.
Buffalo Trace. Hey, thank
Thanks,
you, Tom.
Tom.
I appreciate that, man. Aloha, brother. I appreciate you coming in here.
Look forward to seeing you on a future episode, brother.
Hell yeah.
Thank you,
Cannot wait. Dead drop with Tom coming soon, team. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, be part of the team if you want to learn some more. All right, going forward. Speaking of which, guys, okay, you guys have been asking, you in the chat, you guys have been asking some tough questions. So thank you. All right. Thank you. But you know what? We've had an answer for every single one. And now it's your turn.
We got to check back in, man.
Yes, we do. As we check back in, I want you guys to type in notes. I want to know your thoughts. All right. I want to know, what was the most influential decision that you guys had in mind when you cast your vote, without telling us who you voted for, but let us know what's important to you. What important issue was meaningful to you that caused you to go to that poll and cast your vote? I would like to know, what was that influential decision? What was that topic? What did you have in mind when you guys cast your vote? So please type it in the chat. And yes, Andrew Mealy, thank you for that. Yes, free haircuts should be included when you enlist in the Army. I agree. They should have at least they should give you, your sergeant major should give you like a haircut voucher card that you can use. You know,
I try to give out free haircuts all the fucking time, and you guys didn't want them.
Yeah, well, your haircuts it was your hairdo, and that was it. That was it. So I don't know about that.
Beggars can't be fucking choosers. Listen up.
Hey, so let's get a check back in, man. Let's see what the status report is on this.
All right, let's pull back up the map. All right, so we are currently at 81 to 191. Again, right? Like, this is not super surprising. I'm looking at the map here. Nothing super crazy is jumping out at me, right? Like, we expected New York to go blue, of course.
Yeah,
Vermont, of course, like they called this one at like 0% in. We got Mass, 21% in, already called blue. You know, nothing super surprising there. Maryland, obviously going to go blue. Nothing super crazy there. It'd be interesting to see, you know, percentages from last election to this election to see if there was any big shifts.
So
A big one here, right? Like again, we're watching big ones that we're watching, right? Like here, we'll just pull up our straight up battleground map, right? These are the ones that.
So Will, correct me if I'm wrong. The states that highlight, that means those polls have closed. Like they're counted for, or is that what that means?
So that's still running, right? Like so, Florida, I think was so Florida's like 90% in, right? But based off of where the votes are coming from, and certain districts, like they're able to call it, right? And kind of predict with really, really pretty solid certainty that, hey, this candidate is going to take that state. So like we're looking at like Utah, right? Utah, 0% in. There is nothing in. They already know fucking Trump has that in the bag. Trump's got Utah. Like there's no fucking way, right? Like there is no vote has been. I'm sorry, 6 votes have been counted in the state of Utah. They are 0% in. They have called it for Trump, right? So they're just giving him those right off the bat, right? Montana's one of the interesting ones. Again, that's more interesting from a congressional run than it is president, right? Fairly certain. Again, Montana's going to go red. Same thing here. 4 votes in, 0%. It's red. Like Trump's got that in the bag. He's not going to lose Montana, right? So the ones that we're really interested in, right? So polls are closing across the country. However, right, it's how fast they're able to count. So Georgia, right? These are the states that are really gonna call it.
Man, we look, Arizona, man.
Yeah, so Arizona, Nevada, right? Those two are kind of in play. They're kind of up for grabs a little bit. So here's kind of where the math sits. If, right, she wins Wisconsin, which they are 35% in, it is very close. But again, right, like they're only 35% in, right? Like so they've only counted 35%. Michigan, 16% in. She's up a little bit there. The general consensus is she takes Wisconsin and Michigan. If Trump wins Georgia, which they are now 80% in, and he is up. Let's see here. Looks like a couple 100,000. So nothing, nothing gigantic. That can still flip. North Carolina, he continues to be up about, again, 200,000. They're only 66% in. We'll have to dive into those states to see kind of, where the pockets of voters have not reported in yet. So like if we go into North Carolina, it's going to pop up our little county map here, right? So, right, your big centers, Raleigh, right? She is crushing him in Raleigh. But that was to be expected. So they're about 70 some odd percent in, right? You start getting into some more of these blues, right? These are your heavily populated areas. And that tends to be where your blue vote lies. But right, there's a lot of counties that are reporting in as red, right, where he is up mightily, but they don't have the same population centers, right? So this is where it gets interesting, right? Like you look at this one. So Caswell County, right, they're 95% reported, right? So they're almost done. He's smashing her, right? But look at the total number of votes, right? It's what, 11,000?
Damn.
Right? Compared to Raleigh, right? Hundreds of 400, 500,000 so far in. right? And she's smashing him, right? So you've got a lot of rural counties out there that have not voted in yet. So it'll be interesting to watch that. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch those throughout the night. So we jump back to the big map, right? So when you start looking at math as it winds up,
I hate math.
I know, brother.
God, I'm glad we get a
right.
A very
This is like that blue wall, right? This is what you commonly hear referred to as the blue wall, right?
Ooh.
You're Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan.
Okay.
Right. She's generally predicted to take all of these. Minnesota, 2% in, way too early to call. Take a sip. Dilly.
I gotta go get me a refill. Dilly.
You one because I need to get my charger.
Oh, okay.
But so, right, if Trump takes Georgia, North Carolina, right, and everything else kind of pans out as expected, she really needs to win these three and then Pennsylvania. But this is where it's interesting, right? Like, look at, God damn it, stop doing that.
It's not me. It's the chat.
Jamie, you son of a bitch.
It's Jamie.
Right. 46% in Pennsylvania. Trump up 50-49. Extremely
That
close.
Is too close.
This is the one, right? This is the one where it's going to get super interesting.
Oh boy.
Right, as we kind of scan through here, right? Again, your heavily populated centers, right? Where the hell's Pittsburgh at?
Good old freaking Pittsburgh.
I forget which county it's in.
Let's go, you Steelers fans. Come on now. Yeah. For this, we got to get the chat has some stuff to share. So we're gonna. Hey, we're watching you guys. We're about to get to you guys here right now.
Yeah, so super interesting. Right, the other couple of interesting ones, and it looks like another state just got called. It's this red belt right here, your Wyoming, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Utah, right? So all those we kind of expected, right? California, right? 54 electoral votes. Where's that going? It's going blue. Oregon, 8 blue. Washington, 12 blue, right? Like this is all going to be blue.
Has California ever gone red? I wonder when the last time. Chat, let us know. Type it in the chat, guys. When the last time? Let's get a fact check in the chat. When's the last time California ever went red?
At least governor, right? Like, I mean, you had Schwarzenegger was red. Obviously Reagan, was red. So there's that. I don't know when the last time the state for a president went. But this is the other one for this. Wow. Arizona, dead heat, 49.6 to 49.6, 35% of the vote in. Nevada has not called fuck all yet.
It's going to come down to Arizona again. I'm already calling it. It's going to come down to Arizona.
Oh, there we go. Only a couple of counties, right? Pena and Maricopa, right, where Phoenix sits. So that's a lot closer than I kind of expected it. There's a lot of talk that this will go Trump. It'll be interesting to see if it happens.
Yeah.
But really, she will have to win the entire blue wall and take PA if she even has a shot. Basically, everybody kind of knew it was going to come down to PA. So that's really where the interesting one is the outlier is going to be is right here.
Oh, nice. We already look at our fact check chat already came back. Said 1988.
88.
1988. California went red. Thank you for that, Andrew Mealy. I appreciate that. Lewis White types in, not in my lifetime. Ooh, okay. Hey, so real quick, Will, let's catch up here. We got the chat actually hitting you up for some questions. So real quick, let's see. Some of them typed in as far as what is the influential decision when it came to their voting. Jeremiah types in, hey, supporting Israel. Okay. Lewis types in, hey, foreign policy. Okay. Yep. And then Lewis also types in, hey, a question directed to Will. Will, what is your thoughts on the support to Ukraine or Taiwan? Yada yada yada.
Yada yada yada. Ukraine's an interesting one for me. Right? Like I in part fully support us, you know, the US, the West supporting a sovereign nation trying to defend its borders. I think the fact that that country has held on as long as it has is phenomenal. But I think we have to have a solid strategy, and I haven't really seen a good presented strategy come out of the current administration. You know, are we trying to outlast them? How, you know, right? What are our red lines of like, hey, are we just going to continue to fund an insurgent war for how long? Like, what is the end state goal? And when do we plan on achieving it? And how much money are we going to plan on dumping into this thing? Right. Because at some point we are prolonging a conflict that is creating massive human suffering, millions dead, and it's right. It's a war. It's a dirty war, right? Like trench warfare, fucking dirty war. And so it's interesting to see, and we talked about this a little bit on one of the last episodes of, hey, when, you know, financially, how much longer can the Ruskies support this conflict? And it's looking more and more like, hey, they're getting to a breaking point. And is that within the next year? I don't know. But the current administration is not making that clear to the American people. So I absolutely support it. But there's a line, and you got to kind of set that line. You know, look at what we did in Afghanistan. Like, we knew that was a fucking losing proposition, or at least we should have known. And then at some point we knew, 5-10 years in to a 20-year fucking conflict.
Yeah.
That, hey, like, this was not gonna end well. So when do you cut your losses and say, hey, like, we're out? Like, either we can go full bore, but I don't think the American people have the stomach for that anymore. After 20 plus years of war, we're not going to war with fucking Russia in the middle of winter. Like, that's a terrible idea. So let's not do that. But hey, like, we got to have a good solid policy, and like, what is our red line of, hey, you know what? We got to stop supporting this because it's not beneficial to our foreign policy long term. What is the benefit to our foreign policy long term to support this thing?
No, I agree.
It's kind of a similar thing, right? Like, it's even more murky when it comes to Taiwan because we don't have established doctrine there. We've hinted that we would back Taiwan, but we haven't officially said that in U.S. doctrine. We've left it ambiguous for a reason to kind of fuck with the Chinese. Like, hey, if you fuck around, you might find out. Like, you might find out, maybe, but you'll definitely maybe find out. And so that policy has left some very interesting doors open. And if you don't think that the Chinese are watching what we are doing, supporting Ukraine, like, you're out of your mind. They're 1000% watching that and going, right? Like, I think that they're really waiting to see what administration takes hold.
Yeah, we spoke about this in a previous episode, but yeah, you definitely you got to be crazy if you're thinking foreign leaders are not paying attention to what's going on right now, and probably determining their future COAs based off what's going on.
For sure.
So it is definitely. I agree, and you nailed it too, Lewis, as well. I mean, foreign policy is definitely a big hitter. That a lot of people should definitely put in and start factoring when it comes to when they casted their ballot. But okay, so there we go. Current standing right now. That's what the Senate is looking like. So I mean, hey, there you go. You got the Senate and House floor. I mean, we're gonna see. We'll see how things go and pan out. But this is one of those things why I'm very thankful that the way our founding fathers kind of built that foundation. So that is something that good. It allows that checks and balances process of power. So regardless, guys, however this ends, remember, you're going to be fine. Okay. You're going to be fine. So don't lose sleep. Don't stress out. We'll get through it. I promise you, we will get through it. But, okay. So we got a little special tidbit, extra, just to kind of, as we wait for some time here, that alarm means, all right, we're going to test you guys, and Will and I are going to be tested on a little bit of our nation's trivia. If you're a well-endowed, you might want to know some of this stuff. Okay. It's well endowed. So guys,
you got to stop saying that. You really do.
It's my turn, man. Hey, well endowed, well endowed NCO, thanks for you guys coming.
Can't say that.
Either way, guys, we're gonna do something different here, in acknowledgement of this historic day. Obviously, we're gonna test your guys' knowledge on your American trivia, to include even election trivia. Let's see what you guys know. And we're going to test. Will and I ourselves are going to be put on the up front here as our lovely Covered in Chaos female correspondent has some questions to ask us, So without further ado,
her gender?
Huh? What you saying there, dude?
Did you just assume her gender?
Yeah, I'm offended.
My choice. Brother, ooh. Okay. By all means, send it. Give us your best.
Okay. Some of these are hard.
Give me.
These are really hard. Okay.
Right, the teacher with a fucking master's degree just went, some of these are hard. It's going to be fucking great for a bunch of fucking dumbass knuckle draggers.
Hey, Will, if you get it wrong, you got to drink.
I just called for another one.
That's not fair. Okay. Starting strong. Who is the first American-born president?
First American-born president?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
ooh.
Hold on. I got to think about this one.
So they had to have been born after.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so
it's going to be after.
I said starting strong. Like some of these.
No, I like it. It's a good question.
Oh, that's. Yeah. First American-born president. That's a very okay. No, he was later. Oh. Shit. Teddy?
No.
Like that's too late.
I'm gonna go with McKinley.
Martin Van Buren.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Yeah, sure.
That was my next guess. Okay, hey, you guys were all wrong, including Will and myself, and so are you guys because you guys were too slow in the chat. So everybody, take a sip.
I'm down to like a fucking ice cube.
This one might not be as hard. Who was the first president to live in the White House?
Ooh, so White House was built. Okay, first president to live in the White House, guys.
And the water. First,
hey, ask, phone your friend right there.
She gone. She just brings me more to get fucked up. First president to live in the White House.
Ooh.
And I say this one's not as hard because I feel like I've heard this before.
Adams?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say John
You are
Adams.
not- you are
I was
not.
gonna say John Adams. I said his
Don't
first name.
lie.
I said his first name. He just said
You're
Adams.
so full of shit.
He didn't even say
Don't
his
lie.
first name. I
You're
should get
so
full
full of
credit.
shit. You're so full of shit.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
dude. Okay.
Next one. Okay, so I'll wait until both of you answer.
Thank you.
Why? He's
Thank
just
you.
gonna
I like that
copy
method.
me.
I like that method.
No, I want to make sure because he said that he was going to say that, but I didn't give him a chance.
No, man,
I'm
we're all
not
about
sure. I'm
equality
not
here.
sure. Okay. Which president had turned down offers to play professional football?
Ooh. Devin Howard, appreciate you coming in here. Let's go, baby. Hope you all are doing well tonight. Hey, Devin, quick. I need some help for this trivia question. Which president played professional football?
Turned down an offer to
turned
play.
down.
Oh, turned down an offer. Which president in the United States turned down an offer to play professional football?
Like, who was fucking stacked? Like,
That's what I'm trying to think.
who was stacked up? Like,
And then you also got to think, when was football like founded as like a sport?
you're right.
Oh boy, the Leathernecks.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with no.
Look at you looking
No.
at your fucking phone, white, like
I'm
your
not
head's
looking at my
down.
phone.
You're
Oh
full
my
of
gosh.
shit.
Oh my gosh, this guy
So
saying I'm
full of
cheating
shit.
over here.
One down here.
My phone, I'm not literally. It's
Put your
off. I
fucking
can't.
phone down. Put your
Okay.
fucking phone down.
Hands are right. Hands are right here, team. Okay. That's a good question, man. That is a really good question.
Answer the question. I see you were about to answer because you had it typed in, motherfucker.
No.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too.
I got two presidents in mind, but I know it can't be either one, but it's going to be somebody who is in between there, who held office in between there. And I'm just trying to
Okay, so
think.
who are the names?
It's got to be after Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my guess is
It's
either
gotta be
Teddy
after.
or
But before
You know what? Like, I
Franklin
could see-
Roosevelt.
I could see a JFK too. Like,
No.
I could see it.
All right, we got to do a final answer.
Oh boy. I'm gonna go with Eisenhower.
Okay.
Ooh, that's not a bad one.
I'm gonna go with Eisenhower.
I still think you looked it up.
I didn't look that shit up.
I'll go. You know what? I'll go. I don't think it was around that. But Teddy. I'll go Teddy.
Gerald Ford.
Gerald
Gerald
motherfucking Ford.
All right. Good for
Okay,
that
you
guy.
want an easy one?
Wow. Hey, Devin, you
Yes.
were wrong too, dude. So take a sip.
All we want are easy ones.
Okay, here's an easy one.
Okay.
Which president was in office during September 11th?
Oh, George W. Bush.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that right. He got that wrong. All right, Will, take a sip.
Fuck you.
Oh, this one's a fun one.
Ooh.
It's hard. It's hard.
Send it.
Oh,
Well,
great.
which president was a licensed bartender?
A licensed bartender.
You
Ooh.
probably won't get it.
Ooh. Cracking on right now. Let's go, buddy. Cheers, buddy.
Licensed
Thanks for joining.
bartender. Shit. What president was a licensed bartender?
Ooh.
I'm trying to think of like a good party one. Clinton, man.
Yeah.
No, because he had met
No.
he had met
I'm going to say Cleveland. I think he liked to party. He liked to host parties. He would always host White House parties and stuff.
Cleveland. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck it, Clinton.
Okay, both of you are wrong. Do you want a hint?
Ooh, yeah, I'll take a hint.
Sure.
He's on a coin.
He's on a coin.
So
Thomas
I'm gonna break it
Jefferson.
down a lot. Okay, well,
Licensed bartender. Fuck.
Mhm.
No, it couldn't be Jefferson. I mean, when would they have had Lincoln? I don't know.
it was Lincoln.
Fuck
Whoa,
yeah!
that's not fair. That's not fair. He had somebody in the chat. He had somebody in the chat with literally
Hey,
Grissom.
I didn't
cannot.
see that. I didn't see
Grissom
that.
typed it in the chat. Totally.
Grissom, go to bed.
No. Hey, Grissom literally probably Googled it and just typed it for him to see. Literally. That is not fair. That's cheating right there.
Hey,
Okay, we'll do.
I got a question. I got a question for Gabe though, real quick. Do
Okay.
you like apples? Because how do you like them fucking apples?
Hey,
Go
be
to bed,
fair,
son.
You were both wrong the first time.
That is true.
We're not
Okay.
talking about that.
So there are some good categories coming up. So there's war and peace. So presidents during war and peace, presidential elections, and quotes.
Grissom says never.
Yeah.
Which president ordered the atomic bomb dropped on Japan?
Easy. Truman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry Truman. Do I get
Okay.
extra credit for the first name?
No.
Who is
She said
Harry
no.
S. Truman? Next question, please. 500.
Okay, these are all pretty easy. Okay. Which president signed the Camp David Accords?
What the hell?
Oh. That was Bush
go-
one.
I'm going to
No.
say Kennedy.
Was it Bush
No.
one or Clinton?
None of the above.
Really?
He guessed two. He said two names. You can't get.
Well, both of them are wrong.
Yeah.
It's
So
Jimmy
fuck you.
Carter.
Carter. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I
Wow.
was
I
thinking
don't.
something else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Who was the president during World War One?
So actually, to correct you, the correct term was the Great War. It wasn't known as World War One till later on after VE Day, which is coming up.
I hope you
Oh.
stab him.
Just wait. He's got to go to sleep sometime.
I am going to say, okay, the Great War. Hold on. I gotta think back
Predicted
here.
Republican plus 2.
1917. McKinley?
Well,
Yeah, whatever he said.
No.
No.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow
okay.
Wilson. Oh my goodness.
Okay, presidential elections. Which president won the largest number of electoral votes in a single election?
Ooh, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Well,
That kind of makes sense.
is that your answer?
Sure.
Yeah, it's Roosevelt.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That one checks.
Hey, so we got a little chat line question. Hey, last one for the night. PA is too close to call, Lewis types in the chat. Emphasis on the too close to call. But
Dilly.
that's what they are saying. Too close to call alert, guys. That means
Trump
take a drink.
up.
That means you
Trump-
too, Devin.
Trump up in PA 51 to 47. Really 48. 56% in now, so still very close. Virginia, we've got 49 to 48. Harris, so she is back up in Virginia, 71% in. Very, very close there. She was that's traditionally been blue, but that's very, very, very close. North Carolina, Trump up basically 51-48. That's with 83%
Devin, read the
in,
ticker
so we're
down
getting
below.
closer. And then Georgia, 86% in, Trump up 51-48. Colorado, I saw that one coming. The People's Republic of Boulder has spoken. Trump up in New Mexico. 48.
What? No way.
49-48, only 35% in though.
Yeah.
Trump up
Yeah,
in
there's
New
no way.
Mexico initially. No, there's probably no way. That'll
Only
go
like 3
red.
electoral votes, anyways. It's like 3 votes.
5.
Oh, it's 5.
But
Wow.
yeah, it's 5. Arizona, Trump up 49.7 to 49.5. Dead heat in Arizona, 51% in. Nevada has traditionally fucking sucked at counting votes, and they continue that trend of being no percent in with 0 votes counted.
Of course.
So again, right, like we expected to see Trump up really heavy initially. If you count your California 54 plus 8, 62 plus 12, right? Like basically throws another 70 plus right into the mix, right? Like she's right up there. And then really you've got your, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Trump up in Minnesota, but only 4% in. So we basically can't even talk about that one. Wisconsin, 51% in, a dead tie, 49.2 to 49.1. And Michigan, again, that's very interesting. Dead tie, only 23% in, but 49.3, 48.9 Trump. So basically dead heat. PA, it flipped again. 57% in, 50.9% to 48.1%. Looks like less than 100,000 votes, just over 100,000 votes separating Trump, Harris, and Pennsylvania. Trump currently up there. So, I mean, very, 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 very interesting things. The fact that Virginia is so close is kind of interesting. Again, North Carolina, Georgia looking Trump initially. If he takes both of those and then really she's got to hold that entire blue wall, and it's very, very close.
Damn.
Very, very close. So when they talked about like this is probably one of the closest elections that the U.S. has ever had, they're dead on. That's where we're at. So
holy crap. Well, there you guys have it. Hey, it's would you say it's too close to call?
Hey, too close to call.
It's too close to call. Hey, you take that Angry Orchard, Devin, and you take a sip. Okay.
Oh,
Mini
that's
Vato.
cute.
Mini Vato.
Mini
Go to bed.
Vato.
Go to bed. It's late. There's so much red. Yes, that's a good sign, Mio. But I will definitely explain the science behind this. Okay. But just know your daddy loves you. Okay. Regardless, just know that. And you're going to be safe. Trust me. Speaking of which, Will, I got a little, before we get back into trivia, I want to show you a little prank that has gone pretty famous here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to let you guys check this out too. Now, Will, what do you know about the Nelk Boys?
The fucking hillbilly dudes?
Not the hillbilly dudes, but so they did this prank, man. The Nelk Boys, they're very, I mean, they're up and coming. They have the Full Send podcast. They've had actually Donald Trump on their podcast. They've had Donald Trump. They're good friends with Dana White. They have their own little seltzer called Happy Dad, which, I actually do like. It actually is pretty good. It's a little hard seltzer, but they actually did a prank because they're big. I guess they're also big Trump supporters as well in this election. But they have a prank, and I'm just going to set this up. So what they did, though, is in this prank is they were driving around, I don't know what city, but they're driving around this big city area, and they're stopping at houses in the suburbs that have Harris and Walz signs. And they're going to the houses basically saying, hey, they're acting like they're advocates for the party. And they're saying, hey, do you support this? Do you support this? Hey, we're going to go ahead and drop off these illegals here who just got here since you support it. And we're going to drop off at your house. And they created a short. And I'm going to go ahead and play it here for us. I'm going to bring this up here so we can check this out and watch it firsthand. I thought it was pretty hilarious. Very creative too, by the way. All right, here we go. It's a short team, so you're not going to see it blown up in your big screen, but we're going to check this out together. All right. Then we're going to get right back to some trivia. All right, let's check this out.
So you would do anything for like all the illegals and stuff?
I think we have to be fair.
Guys, this is great. I think we found a new home for you guys.
What guys?
What guys? There you go.
Is that your bus?
Yeah.
I don't understand what this is all
Oh,
about.
this is all the immigration. They're gonna move into your house.
They are not.
What do you mean? You just said you wanted to support everyone, though.
Okay, that I don't.
No, they're
Guys,
not
we
violent.
got a
They're
new
not
house.
violent. They're good. They're
Oh no,
like,
hop it! Just like you guys did before.
Thank you very much.
Can they stay for dinner? Wait.
Sorry.
Well, we have your signature. You guys got to drive back
Oh
down
no.
south.
Back to Home Depot.
So you would do anything for like all the illegals
I think
and
we
stuff?
have to be fair.
Guys, this is great. I think we found a new home for you guys.
Oh no.
What guys?
There you go.
Is that your
That's
bus?
so good. Yeah.
I don't understand what this is all
Oh,
about.
this is all the immigration. They're gonna move into your house.
They are not.
What do you mean? You just said you wanted to support everyone, though.
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
I just thought that was pretty hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's it's hilarious, right? Like, especially when this thing kind of started and it was really isolated to the border. When we start talking immigration, and then really it was Greg Abbott like, all right, motherfuckers, and he's just started shipping them to New York City and Chicago. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, guys, like, hey, you want to be a sanctuary city? Here you go. And then people started figuring out, oh shit, like we can go up there. They're going to give us a bunch of money, like put us up in these hotels. Like, cool. Like, let's go up there. And now all of a sudden, every town is a border town, and like everybody's feeling the pain. And it was real funny, right? Like everybody's like, yeah, I support it, until like dudes in your fucking front yard, camping out, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. That's great. Love it. That's funny though.
I thought it was hilarious. It's like, hey, okay, you support. And they're like going up there with a clipboard. Hey, you support. You're gonna vote. We got your vote. Hey, okay, so you support illegal immigration? Yeah, we should help them out. Okay, hey, good. And so you get to the radio. Hey guys, we found you a new home, and a bus comes up and drops them off.
It just reminds me.
She just closes the door. She just closed the door on them. It's like, okay, what are you doing? This is what you're voting for. So it makes good sense.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one where it's like, hey, do you have every dollar you have, like you give us, right? Like we'll save a child. And the girl's like, yeah, I got like $6. And they pull up a van, and they're like, six of you, get out of the 6 of you, get out of the van. Like they start piling like 6 kids out. She's like, oh my God. Like it start trying to hand them a 20 and like give me all the kids. Shit cracks me up, dude. Love it.
Okay, hey, we got some more trivia coming up, guys. We got some more questions here because I want to test this knowledge, and I like trivia, guys. I do. It's like a check on learning. All right.
Yep. So a couple more, and then it's my bedtime.
Boo.
All right, ready?
Somebody take away his buttons.
I've tried.
No, stop. No.
Okay. Which president was elected 4 times?
Which president was elected 4 times? FDR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Well.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'll go with whatever he said.
Oh, really? You trust me like that, Will? Okay.
Okay, it was.
Will has a drink now.
Oh, okay. Oh, stop. No.
Who was the first president to participate?
You okay there, dude?
Oh, went up my nose. Oh, the Buffalo Trace burns in my nose.
It's good for the sinuses.
Oh.
All right, what do you got?
Who was the first president to participate in a televised debate?
The first president to participate in a televised debate.
Televised.
I would say Richard Nixon.
Oh,
Well,
I'd go before that.
I know. I just can't remember who was before that, though, because that was my first guess. But I'm going to go with Richard Nixon on myself. He says he'd go before that, but he doesn't know who that is.
is that your final answer?
Sure.
It was Kennedy.
Oh, really? Kennedy. Okay.
Okay, so
Really?
now, yep. We're going.
But he did it against Richard Nixon.
Right. Yeah, that would. Yeah.
I think we need a fact check on that one because then that means Richard Nixon
That
participated in
wasn't
that.
the question, though. It was which president.
Yeah. Listen up. Fuck.
Damn, man. Damn. I know I was right there, team. Okay.
Okay. Quotes. It's either really hard or really easy. Who declared Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall?
Oh, easy.
Reagan.
Okay.
Ronald Reagan.
Who
Yeah,
coined the
just
term
copy me.
speak softly and carry a big stick?
Ooh. William Barclay.
I just like talking about sticks.
Speak softly, carry a big stick.
Yep.
Roosevelt.
I think Theodore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
No, see, he said Roosevelt. We had 2. You don't know which one he said.
Oh, fuck you.
I said first name.
I would say he got it.
That guy, the guy
Hey,
that said
good job,
well
Evan. Good
endowed.
job, Andrew. That guy said well endowed. Hey, don't laugh at that, guys. Seriously, Andrew, are we going to play that way tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
All right. Interesting presidential moments. Which president had a pet alligator?
Ooh. Pet alligator.
Fucking pet alligator. That's badass.
I'm going to say Theodore Roosevelt.
Well,
He was a hunter.
would-
He was a very
He
avid
would be
hunter.
fucking, yeah, he would
Very
be
into
batshit.
exotic animals.
No. I'm gonna go like early, like, oh god, one of the ones from Adams. I don't know.
okay. Since we're playing this way, full name?
Ooh. Theodore Roosevelt.
Okay. Full names from now on.
No. Who was it? Who was it?
Who was it?
John Quincy Adams.
John
Adams. Hey,
Quincy
fuck you.
Adams.
Fuck you. What's up?
What?
Okay. Which president signed the act that established Yellowstone as the first national park?
Ooh.
Ooh. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
That sounds right.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Ooh.
Damn.
Grant? Really? That early, huh?
Wow. I didn't know that. Damn.
Okay.
Which president had a horse named Old Whitey?
Ooh, that's racist.
That is actually.
Can't do that anymore. You can't do that today.
Yeah, you can't have a horse in the
You can't be doing that.
White House named Whitey.
Which president had a horse named Old Whitey? That sounds like some shit Teddy would do.
Yeah, it does actually. He was a cavalryman too, so he
Right.
loved
That's what I'm
horses.
thinking.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Zachary Taylor.
Okay.
Are you serious?
Okay, couple more. Who was the first president to light the national Christmas tree on the White House lawn?
Ooh.
I'm gonna say my man Grover Cleveland.
I'm gonna go way later.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go. Shit.
Balls.
Kennedy. No, maybe Ford. I don't know.
Calvin Coolidge.
Coolidge. Okay.
Damn. Hey, Mini Vato types in Thomas. Thomas who? Thomas Jefferson?
Thomas the Tank Engine, motherfucker.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Who was the first president to have a pet dog in the White House?
First president to have a pet dog in the White House. The first president to have a pet dog in the White House. That's
Who
gotta
bit
be way
who
early.
bit multiple people? Joe Biden.
I mean, that is true. Joe Biden's dog did bite a lot of staff members.
Right.
I would say Benjamin Franklin.
What?
Why not? Ben Franklin? You know he had to have a dog. Gosh, the guy was like in his own world all the time.
All right, well,
Eisenhower. I don't know.
John Adams.
John Adams. That was right after Benjamin Franklin. That's John Adams and Ben Franklin. They knew each other. Good guess, Mini Vato. George Washington. That's a good guess.
Last two.
All right, last two questions, team.
I'm not gonna do.
You know, Ben Franklin was never the president, right?
Yeah, wasn't he a president? He was like our fourth president, right?
No.
Nope.
No. Okay, so we all know
There's
the
a conspiracy
tallest
there, then.
president, but who was the shortest?
Oh.
All right, say that again.
I said we all know who the tallest president was.
Yep.
But who is the shortest?
Ooh. Shortest president.
I would guess Nixon or W. I don't think W was very tall.
No, Andrew, don't clip that. It's not a laughing matter.
I'm going to do a short of that tomorrow.
Don't you dare, dude. Okay, shortest president. Shortest president. I'm gonna have to go with my man Grover Cleveland.
Did you already guess, Will? I think you said,
we'll
said
say.
two.
We'll go with W.
James Madison.
Okay.
Damn. Actually, or even Monroe. I was gonna even think. I didn't even think about that.
I was gonna give a hint and say his name wasn't on there yet, or we haven't.
James Madison.
Okay, last one. Which president had the nickname Old Hickory?
Which president had the name Old Hickory? John K says Madison. John, you cheater, using Google, weren't you? Napoleon. That's a good guess, but he wasn't a president.
Like Ben Franklin.
Like I said, there's a conspiracy still. Okay. Old Hickory, huh? Old Hickory. Old Hickory. Old Hickory.
Fuck. Washington. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Monroe.
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew mother freaking Jackson, dude.
Hey, about that
Devin,
Ben Franklin.
Yes. Good guess, Devin. Grant, that's a good guess.
Hey, about that Ben Franklin thing.
You're not gonna live that down.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational.
Don't you laugh at that.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
That's a great clip.
No, that was not.
Yes, it was.
No, that was not.
Yes, it was.
Guys.
All right. I have to go to bed.
All right. Do you have any last words, encouraging words for the Comfort and Chaos community regarding election night? You know, any last bits of encouragement, you know?
We'll get through it together. How's that? What is
Take
that
away
sound?
your fucking buttons.
Like, what does that sound even mean?
I don't know.
I don't know. I just hit the buttons.
It doesn't fit the context.
Well, Mini Vato saying good night.
Good night, Mini Vato.
Good night, Isaiah.
Good night. Good night. Good night. All right. Thank you. All right, Will, what are we looking at?
You want to check in?
Yeah, let's see. Let's get a sit rep.
Yeah, I don't think much has changed. I think we're kind of probably hitting a stalemate here, but we can check it out, right? So if we check out the big map, right, this is the nationwide count, right, which doesn't really matter. But the fact that he's like, if he wins the popular vote on top, right, like that's kind of telling, because he's lost the popular vote and still won the presidency. We're +1 Republican side in the Senate. Like I said, it looks like they might take 2, which would put them up in the Senate. +3 in the House. So they will maintain, most likely, if everything remains the same, maintain coverage of the House. 210-91. Nothing really changed in our electoral map. I will go ahead and pull up the other map here, which
yes.
again, this kind of gives us a little bit better data. Really, again, the ones that we're looking at, and I'll kind of isolate here, right? Battlegrounds only. So Georgia, Trump up 50-48, 89% in. So still kind of trickling in from Georgia. Trump up about 100K vote-wise. North Carolina, Trump up 50-47. Really, it's 51-48. 85% in. Again, right? Like that can change based off of the percentage and where those votes are coming in from. So we'd have to really kind of deep dive, and we don't have time for that shit. Pennsylvania, again, very interesting. Trump up 67% in. He is up 50-48. Right, if he wins those 3 states, he pretty much closes it out. I don't think that there's a path for her.
So do you think there's a possibility we'll find out before midnight?
Maybe. Kamala up, widening the gap out in Michigan. That's a state she was kind of expected to carry anyway. Trump had kind of closed the gap, I think, towards the end there. But again, we're 29% in. There's not enough data there to know. Wisconsin, 58% in. Dead tie, 49.8% Trump. The fact that he's even winning there is interesting. 48.5%, but again, only 58% in there. Out in Arizona, dead tie, 49.6, 49.5.
Holy crap. Arizona, man. Arizona.
And they just hit 51% complete. Again, we'd have to look into what counties and where what's reporting. Nevada, again, being a battleground state, its polls are, I think, closed by now, has reported fuck all, because they are traditionally a dumpster fire slow state, which blows my mind.
I feel like,
cool.
Do you feel like they just love the drama? Like
Nevada, yeah, man.
I feel like they just love the drama. Guys, comment down below. Let me know if you feel like they just love the drama. I'm just curious. Actually, Devin comes in the chat saying, "Hey, man, no matter who wins, we will all be alive tomorrow with lives to live to the fullest."
Oh, yeah,
And
absolutely.
That is very well said there, Devin. Thank you for that. Hey, man, very, very, very profound there. Let's get a round of applause. Jamie, trigger a round of applause for my man, Devin. Thank you. Tate Harrison comes in. Thank you, Tate. Comes in here saying, "Hey, tell that to Navia Crane." Okay, you're going to have to give me some insight on that one, man.
Cool.
Yeah,
Let's get right on that.
Nevaeh Crane, hey, help me out, bro.
I don't know.
Help us out. Mr. Tate, Senor Tate, help us out here. Give us some more. Give me some more. Educate me. I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn.
Yeah, it was
Crane.
really
Who's
it
Nevaeh
was
Crane?
really interesting. You know, when we to Google that shit.
Google that
Motherfucker, you Google that shit.
Now I'm about to now you got me curious. Jamie, I'm gonna pull this up. Let's see what.
Yeah, it was really interesting looking at some of the prelim data, right? Like, you know, we had an episode, I think it was last week, you know, when early voting had kind of started and massive Republican turnout in the early votes. So it looked like, you know, again, we didn't have enough data points to compare it to, but it had kind of looked like that Trump had the potential to run away with it if that trend continued. That trend did not continue. And so you looked at, you know, early voting, really predominantly a lot of women, and then early today, a lot of women, which really tended to skew over towards Harris. But it looks like in towards this later afternoon into the evening, it really has potentially flipped the other way. I really did not see that coming. You know, when we first kind of got on air a few hours ago, based off of some of the initial exit polls and percentages broken down by, you know, gender and then race, it looked like Harris might just absolutely crush him.
Yeah.
But it's kind of looking the other direction a little bit. But again, like, you know, a couple years ago when we went through this, or, you know, 4 years ago when we went through this exact same thing, you know, it looked like Trump was absolutely running away with it. And then, you know, it came back and was absolutely crushed. And this is what I was talking about. So if you look at the map currently, they just gave California. Let's see if this will update here on the live map. On the other map, it's showing Cali as
Found something on Nevaeh
blue.
Crane. I want to pull it up when you get a chance.
Yep, 145, 214 now.
145,
Right, so-
214. Oh, shoot.
Yeah. So, right, like, this is where we start talking about, like, you know, some of those traditional blue states that are just going to ramp up her numbers very, very quickly. All right.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is Nevaeh Crane?
Okay, so Nevaeh Crane, let's see here. All right, so Nevaeh Crane, here we go. And thank you, Mr. Tate. All right, we'll go ahead. We're responding to this, guys, in case you don't know. Google that shit is what he had typed in there. You know, and hey, we at Comfort and Chaos, we want to learn. Okay, we're here to learn. We don't know everything. We don't claim to know everything. And anybody does, if you guys are tuning into all these other podcasts and stuff, I'm telling you right now, they don't know everything. They're Googling shit too. And you know what? We're going to take your advice here. You told us, and you know what, dude? We're on it. All right, we are on it. So, Nevaeh Crane. Okay, pregnant teenager died after trying to get care in 3 visits to a Texas emergency rooms. It took 3 ER visits and 20 hours before the hospital admitted Nevaeh Crane, 18, as her condition worsened. Doctors insisted on 2 ultrasounds to confirm fetal demise. She is one at least of 2 Texas women who died under the state's abortion ban. Yeah. And we spoke about this earlier, Mr. Tate, and the abortion issue is definitely going to be one that's going to be a tough one because of the fact that it's not going to go away. I mean, we were talking about earlier. I mean, it's not going to go away. You know, I mean, Will, what insight do you got to prove on this one? Or what would you like to add to
I mean,
this?
I would have to look into the story more. I understand now where like the comment, right? Like, so Devin comes in and says, "Hey, no matter who wins, we're all going to be alive tomorrow." Right? Tate comes in. Well, tell that to this person who passed away, because of shitty policy being implemented, both at the federal and state level. And again, we had talked about this on multiple episodes. I think where you and I generally have a very similar viewpoint of hey, and it's a little bit more libertarian than Republican of, hey, like, do whatever the fuck you want. Like you should I think that there should be some guardrails put in place, but overall, overall, I think a person should be able to decide what they want to do when it comes to that situation. But I also look at it like, when you start talking about guaranteeing fundamental rights, regardless of who wins this election, the abortion piece is not going to change. At the federal level, it is not going to change.
I mean, that's that's just a harsh reality. Like
correct.
That is, it's not like, it is just one of those things. It's just the harsh reality of just how our government works and how these politicians make their decisions.
So what I would say is, I would look at your local congresswoman, that legislates laws, and that creates the ability, to put that into a federal law guaranteeing that thing. And again, I think the Republicans are completely upside down on this issue. I think that they are backwards on this issue and they're not tackling it in quite the correct way. At this point, that specific issue has been pushed down to the state level. There is no federal abortion ban. Trump did not put in a federal abortion ban. That was an overturn of a Supreme Court precedent guaranteeing a fundamental right to do a thing. You can argue he put in the justices that overturned it. I agree. I don't agree that it was overturned. I think we both agree on that. Tate comes in. It's not just do what you want. It's allowing doctors to make medically necessary decisions. Again, agree. We're in this jacked up place inside of this country where it has become so politicized and polarizing that you've got the states that are banning outright, not allowing doctors to be able to make those decisions quickly.
No, I agree.
Is potentially costing a life. Here's the other thing I will argue. You look at,
and I think you know where you're going to get with this because we're probably in the same point of view on this.
Yeah,
being in the military, as you know too, but continue, Will. I don't mean to interrupt.
Okay. You look at some of the states, that have up to point of conception ability to execute an abortion, We're talking very, very late term, Here's one of the very interesting things about this issue that the U.S. fucks up on a regular basis that other countries don't. So when you look at the ability for a doctor to treat a prematurely born child, medically, we're getting more and more sophisticated, So one of the interesting things is when you start talking about, we're not even going to talk late term abortion. We're going to talk midterm, abortion, So statistically, there is an 8 to 10% fail rate in abortions. I believe it's past 14 weeks. It might be 16. I'm not sure. So the U.S. does not keep stats on this. Other first world countries, Canada, UK, a couple others, keep stats on this, right? So roughly up to 10% of abortions fail when they attempt them, right? Leading to a born child, right? A living being.
Oh, wow.
Right. And this has been documented in some of those states, right? Where extremely late term, the same state, the current running vice president for the Democratic Party comes out of, right? Where a late term abortion happens, a child is born alive, right? They are literally set aside on a fucking table and allowed to die.
Damn.
Has happened inside this country. Right? So this is what I mean by like, hey man, there has to be a nuanced discussion on this, right? It can't be one or the other. We have to have guardrails put in place and allow for multiple things to happen, right? Hey, if that kid is born alive and medically we are sophisticated enough to allow that child to come to term in a fucking NICU, like, do we allow that to happen? I don't know. But that's probably a discussion that we need to have in this country, right? Like, we don't talk about it because we don't keep the stats on it, but other first world countries do. And so, like, we have politicized this issue to a point where we can't have nuanced conversations. And again, like, I know you and I are on the same page of, hey man, like, I think a person should be able to do what they want with their body. Doctors should be able to make medical decisions. I agree. But that kind of goes both ways.
Yeah.
Right? Because we got to be able to have that nuanced, detailed discussion on these topics and issues in this country. And unfortunately, like, we have been so politically polarized that we can't do that. And it's really unfortunate. So, right, like, again, like this one with Navia Crane, right? I don't know the background on it. I know the other one that came out of Georgia, that was a very similar kind of discussion, right? Was heavily politicized. And then it kind of came out that, like, hey, it wasn't really a doctor issue, or it was a medical issue. It really didn't have anything to do with abortion. I don't know the details on it. I can't speak to that one. But we should be able to have these conversations in a detailed manner. I just can't talk about that one because I don't know. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who becomes the president at this point. That issue, unfortunately, is not going to change anything at this current ground. Vote for for your all three branches of two branches of government that you can vote for, right? Like, you can vote for your congressman, you can vote for who goes in the House and Senate, you can vote for the president. That's who you can vote for, right? If this is your number one issue, or if this is an issue, drastically touches you, right? Vote for the person and the people that can potentially change the math on this and affect that change. Because without those three, and it's got to be a heavy dose, right? Again, I think the Republicans are upside down on that.
I agree too, Will. I'm just curious, especially because I've always been one of those when it comes to the situation. But you see, I hold the same standard across the board now, because you know me, and I've discussed this before. And those of you who are just tuning in, I am not about selective standards. All right. As a leader in the military, we are not about selective standard. Okay. So in this situation, okay, you have, you are saying, hey, allowing doctors to make medically necessary decisions. And basically what you're telling me is not let the state get involved, right? Not let the government get involved to influence a medical professional decision. So in that sense, though, would you apply that same standard, say, when it comes to like vaccines, in that same sense, where it becomes a government mandated issue, so it's like, it's just one of those things that I've always just questioned on. In my opinion, to me, it's the same thing. Whenever somebody comes to me, one of my soldiers comes up to me for legal advice, I say, hey, you know what? I'm not educated nor licensed to give you legal advice. Go seek legal professionals and take their advice, because that's what they're trained, licensed, and educated in. I am not certified to give you medical advice. Go seek, here's the resources available to you to give you your medical advice, and so forth. Now, that being said, that's how I see it when it comes to like these medical issues. Now, if doctors are now making decisions based off because of their state and government regulations, to me, I think that's an issue, at least to me, because those people who are issuing those regulations, unless they are doctors themselves and trained and certified and experienced in that same situation or same matter, then why are you regulating these doctors who are on the boots on the ground? Like, they're in there looking at people like Navia, or they're having them as patients, and to me, Will, and it's shitty to know or to think that there's a possibility where a doctor can make a decision about my livelihood or someone of my family, my own kid or something, but then they can say, hey, we could do this, but I can't because the state doesn't allow me to do that. The government tells me I can't do that. So you have to go seek this other measure or go to this state. And that's where I do have a concern in that matter. If you get where I'm going here, Will.
Yeah.
I know I'm not trying to confuse that, but if the state, literally the government can tell you, you have to do this, you have to get this vaccine, you have to do this. Well, now you already opened that door where now government has control. Like, you're giving them that control, So it's tough, because anytime you give them that control, they're not going to give it back. I've never known that in history. If you do the research, just show me, educate me in history whenever they gave it back. Hey, thanks for giving us this control. We got the problem taken care of. Now we're going to go ahead and give it back to you guys.
Yeah. I agree with you in part. I think this is where, right, like, we elect representatives of us, right, the greater population, to make very difficult decisions, nuanced decisions about overall public safety goals, right? There's a balance there, right? And when that balance starts to get out of whack, right, it is the people's job to come in and go, no, motherfucker, like, let's back that up. You're out. Let's put somebody else in who right, will work that boundary better. I don't know if we do a great job of that sometimes. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. But, right, you look at, this is a great example, right? Take a look at, Seattle and Oregon, Washington State, right? Hey, let's go legalize every drug on the planet. Like, you want to do cocaine, fentanyl, pop some mushrooms, smoke some weed, like, have at it. Like, open air drug market, right? The people made their voices heard and said, yeah, like, let's do that. Like, right, super libertarian, like, government should have no say in any of that, right? Look how that wound up. Right. So there's that nuance balance, right? There's a reason why, like, everybody in that area is currently being voted out. Literally everyone. Like, you can all fuck off. Like, all of you are out. We're going to try it again because you went way too goddamn far. So let's back it up and put it back in the box and move forward from there. And so, right, there's that very, like, nuanced balance. Tate hits it, right? Laws are the antithesis of nuance, right? Like, The problem is, right, we currently
Tate,
have
if it's the Tate I'm thinking of, he's actually a very smart guy. Tate,
that's
I
a very
miss you,
smart
homie. I
comment.
miss our conversations. You're very smart. I would love to have you on here, Tate. So definitely DM me your email, and I'll send you a link. I would love to have you on here for an episode, man. Definitely. Well, I'd love to hear your perspective on things. You know, that's what we're here about. You know, at Comfort and Chaos, everyone has a story, and we're also about engaging those conversations that people just don't normally like to engage in that need to be had, because there's always some understanding that we can get. And I'll tell you right now, you educated myself and Will. We didn't even know who that was. And look at that, you know, and this is what we're about here. Honestly, I didn't know who that was. We look into it and I'm like, yeah, you did. You ping something in my head too, you know? So I appreciate that. Definitely. And you make a good point, but yeah, there's always an understanding though, and a common ground where we can come to, you know, we don't have to agree with each other, but we can come to. But I appreciate you, Tate. Thanks for coming in, man. I do remember now who you are. So yeah, smart dude. Tate's a smart dude. He's a smart guy.
Yeah, I mean it's a very smart comment. And right, this is where it gets into that nuanced discussion. And like, hey man, you don't like it? Like, vote him out. Right? Like that's how you make your voice heard. That's how people make their voices heard, right? And frankly, the Republican Party is fucking upside down on this issue. They are completely backwards on this issue. And I would argue to some extent, right, when you start diving into fully on the Democrat side, they're also upside down, right? The American people generally, right, when you start talking about numbers, right, and that's a large point of this, right? You know, what is the overall American people perspective on this issue? Hey, like the majority of people agree, hey, like abortion should be a legal thing, right? But there should also be guardrails on it, right? Like, I don't think there's a whole lot of people out there that agree with, oh, you're in your 8th to 9 month of pregnancy, and you just decided, like, nah, I'm out. Like, no, like, sorry, you don't get to make that decision anymore. That is a viable human, and we're not just gonna fucking pull it out and off it. Like, that's not okay. So there's a balance there. And it's a very difficult decision. It's a very difficult conversation, but I think it's something that we should have. And when you look at it, right, this election is very telling, right? Again, when you look at the number of issues, right, the couple of main issues on exit polls, right, are abortion, right? The Republicans are upside down on. Democracy, that's a big bucket. And it could go either way depending on how you frame it. I throw that one out the window. Because again, how you frame it is very important. But when you start talking about the major issues, the economy, immigration, foreign policy, right? Like the Democrat Party is upside down on a lot of those issues. So if the Republicans come in and lose this election, I really truly believe it will be because of that issue right there. They really, and you've seen them start to walk it back because I think they've realized, the Republicans have realized how upside down they really are amongst the greater American people. Not everybody, but a large chunk of the electorate. And if they want any kind of chance to govern this country in a direction, they better get fucking right with that specific topic, or they are going to be very upside down.
No, I mean, I definitely agree with you on that one. And I mean, John in the chat, he kind of put it out here too. Insurance companies, licensing boards, and government policy drives a massive part of medical decisions. And that is the point that I was kind of emphasizing on. John, I appreciate you typing that in. Because to me, it's like, hey, if that's a door you're going to open, then be ready, because you're going to give them that control from that point forward. you can't be picky and choosy because the government doesn't like once you open that door right there.
Yeah,
there's no closing it. Like, good luck trying to close that.
Yeah,
and to me
any
personally,
of us that have worked for the government fully understand. Like,
oh, exactly. Like, you know,
yeah,
you know what that looks like. You know, and to me, I'm a person where I'm like, dude, I'm for. Hey, you know what? I don't want the government involved in my medical decisions that doctors are making to save my life or my family's life. You know, or for my healthcare. I want that to be between me and the doctor, you know, and that's it. Like, I shouldn't have the doctor where they're influenced by pharmaceutical companies and insurance policies and all these big corporations and just big money and licensing and regulations where it's like, dude, it's like, hey man, I can help you, but here's what's available in the world of our healthcare and medical technology realm. But because where we are, it's not available to you. In case in point, okay, I'll use this as a case in point, as a military perspective, okay, from the military athlete perspective. In the military, we the expectation is for us to maintain readiness, okay, and that is even on the physical realm, and that is in your whole time, and we're evaled on that, okay. You have to maintain a physical readiness, and it's monitored and evaled with an ACFT and everything. But as you know, in the military, you're expected to be a military athlete and you're going to age and your body's going to age. You're going to get injuries and everything. But because certain regulations, there's now medical technology, there's now enhancements, there's now things that professional athletes, grown men athletes are exposed to maintain their level of readiness to perform. And in the military, they regulate that. It's not offered to us. It's not. You have to go through certain channels. It's a process to even get that. But you're still expected to maintain a high caliber of proficiency when it comes to your physical performance, even as you continue to make rank and age and grade, but you still have to maintain that mission readiness. And I'm one of those where I'm like, man, there's so much. Every time I go to the doctors, you can ask them. I go to the military doctors. I bring up all kinds of stuff. Hey, what about this therapy? Hey, what about peptide therapy, doc, and all this? Like, these are what all these professional, like, it's already proven, and these are what other organizations are using, and we are expected to perform at a high caliber level, but yet you're telling us it's not offered to us because of policy and red tape and government. Like, then it's like, wow, this is my healthcare. This is my body. It's not theirs, you know? And that's how I see it. And that is just my little boots on ground assessment. Just from that, I can't compare to all the other stuff when it comes to like abortions and stuff. I can't relate to that. But when it comes to, I just know with me and the red tape that I've experienced, it's just like, man, this, to me, I'm like, dude, this is what I'm not a fan of right here. This is what I'm not a fan of, you know? So I appreciate you, John, for sharing that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're jumping, let's switch gears. If we're jumping back,
yeah,
into
let's
the
switch
map.
gears. I appreciate you, Tate. Appreciate you, John, for sharing that, man. Thank you, guys. That's what we're about here. All right, how are we looking?
Right, this is
Do I
kind
have
of
a
what
new
we
boss
saw.
yet?
Not yet. 172, 214. So Trump is pretty much holding the 214 piece, and he will for quite a bit. This is where the blue starts to tick in, right? So they went ahead and they called California, Oregon, Washington State, all blue, right? New Mexico, that's kind of what we expected. Now 77% in. Way back up, blue. She's up by, really, I mean, that's not a lot of votes. It's like 30,000. So that's not a ton. And they're about 77% in. So still some numbers to come in there, but fully expect. I think that's tighter than some expected, but fully expect her to win that. Arizona is where it's right. That is fucking dead heat.
Gosh, dude, I told you
49-6, 49-5.
They love that drama in Arizona.
51% in. Very interesting. Alaska, I think that typically breaks Republican. Hawaii, almost guaranteed to break blue. Cool story. We already knew those. Again, going back to Georgia, that's a big one. Trump now up a couple of percent, about 100,000 votes. So again, very, very close. 91% in. It's really going to be interesting to see where the counties are and how much left, right? Where are the remaining votes that need to come in? But that's interesting. That's extremely tight. North Carolina, looks like he's blowing it open a little bit. It's a couple 100,000. Well, no, about 100,000 votes, up 50 to 47. Really, that's 48. So again, right, like a couple of percent. Virginia, back up for Harris, 81% in. She's up 50.3 to 47.8. So still very, very close. There's less than 100,000 votes in that state. Difference between the two major candidates there. Again, 81% in. There's still some wiggle room there. PA, very interesting. Trump up a couple 100,000. Again, he takes that. If he takes
Pennsylvania is going to be a big one.
North Carolina, Georgia. If he gets those
that's gonna be a
three,
game changer for both candidates.
That's
Pennsylvania.
That might be a wrap. Because he's at 214. North Carolina, that's 16 for Georgia, and then 19. Right? That puts him in. I'd have to actually do the math, and I've had I don't know how many drinks tonight, so we're not going to do that publicly. Michigan, interesting, but 37% in. Trump up 3%. There's less than 100,000 votes there. That's very, very early. They are still trying to figure their shit out. Wisconsin, that's very interesting as well. Trump up again about 100,000 votes there. 50 to 47, 68% in. So still a lot of wiggle room there. And then Minnesota, 47% in. Harris really kind of running away with that one. But again, this is that blue wall. If you just kind of draw a line right there, right? Everything across there and then north typically is blue. Nevada still has reported absolute fuck all, and right again, absolute dead heat in Arizona. So this is where really we're kind of at a stalemate probably until tomorrow.
Damn, you really think so?
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, if you want to stay up till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, which I don't think either one of us do.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
we're kind of at a point where I think, we're just going to have to wait for the rest of these results to trickle in. If I had to guess where we're at right now, I mean, and I'm interested to think, to hear what do you think? Let's start there. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to start off by saying, hey, Devin, thanks, man. Thanks for tuning in, and you have a good night. Hey, got to recruit people tomorrow, man. Thank you guys for the good conversation, and take care all. Hey, that's awesome, Devin. Appreciate your presence, man. There's power in presence, guys. I always articulate that to you guys. So thank you all for being present tonight. Man, so that's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. I think so obviously Pennsylvania is going to be a big heavy hitter, like you said. It's a close one. Pennsylvania and Arizona. I think that's what it's going to come down to. But you know what's crazy is I feel like we just love drama here. We love drama. We're a nation of drama, man.
Yeah,
we're a nation of drama. If that's anything I've learned, man, anything I've learned.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Hey, what do you think about John's chat there? So John types in the chat, man, hey, either of you gamble online on the election? It's wild that that's a thing.
It is wild that that's a thing. You can bet on anything. Like there's prop bets on everything right now, which is
You
pretty
can
funny.
Anything nowadays.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's a buck to be made.
Yeah. You know what? I saw something earlier, and now I want to pull it up.
Oh, please do. Please do.
This will be a little bit telling. I think. Was the stock futures.
Hey, John, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on voting or betting, gambling on the votes? Because I have seen there has been a lot of those. I think the big one, what is it called? Kalishi or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot the name of the platform, but they actually have like the odds and everything breakdown, you know, on who's going to win the election and everything. So I am curious to know your thoughts.
Yeah. So I was curious about this. I was curious, what stock futures were doing. And I pulled up Market Watch. In the stock market, the Dow futures jumped over 500 points as investors pencil in a Trump win. Really? Yep. So basically, the market will open tomorrow with a gigantic jump, based off of currently. This is about as of less than 30 minutes ago. Last updated 30 minutes ago. So basically, although current math is sitting tight where it's at. Trump 230. So they just gave Trump, I'm gonna guess, Idaho. Was he was up 214. What did they give him? They gave him North Carolina. NBC just gave him North Carolina.
Really?
Yep.
So I just had sent to me from a source of a currently New York Times prediction, and it has Donald Trump at 230 and Kamala Harris at 187.
I'm curious what else they're giving. I mean, I'm curious what else they're giving her. Maine, maybe 187.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well,
for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the NBC poll, right? Like everybody's. I mean, you can pull up Fox, and they're probably right. Like
everyone's pulling up. Like everyone's got their forecast, you know.
Right. It's a forecast. It's a guess at this
That's
point,
what it is.
right? So NBC, right? Like who? Let's be real. Tends to lean extremely left. I'd actually kind of be interested to dial into them to watch their fucking meltdown currently. But you can. North Carolina, they gave him. It looks like he's going to take Georgia, which with those, she has to win Pennsylvania. Realistically, she has to win Pennsylvania. She is currently losing by, it looks like, just over 2 percentage points with 81% in. She's down now 200,000 votes, roughly, in Pennsylvania. That's 81% reported in. That can change, but it's Michigan, 38% in. Trump up a couple percent. There's very, very slim margin there. Tons of room to move. Wisconsin, again, Trump up, 69% in. Minnesota, I think she's gonna take Minnesota. Nevada now starting to report. Jesus Christ. Welcome to the fucking party, Nevada.
Welcome to the party, Nevada. It's about time.
Only 2% in. Heavy Trump thus far, but again, only 2%. That's nothing. That means like one county maybe is starting to report. Arizona, complete deadlock. That'll be they're talking. There's currently less than 3,000 votes that separate, and we are talking 51% in. New Mexico, she's going to run away with. She'll take New Mexico. That's not a big surprise there. The big surprise, if he takes Wisconsin, which again currently up, there's still a lot of wiggle room there with the number of counties that still need a report. PA is the big one. Georgia and PA. We might know. NBC, it was Virginia. NBC's predicting Virginia 185-230.
Oh, wow.
That's not super surprising. I think that how close Virginia was is a little bit surprising. They're 84% in. There's about 200,000 that separate. Again, it depends on what counties. So NBC's currently predicting Harris to take Virginia. I'm just pulling up Fox News. They are predicting. Oh, that's interesting. Again, they gave Iowa, which is not a super big surprise. Trump wins in Iowa. That's about an hour ago. Check. 5 minutes ago, Fox News, Bernie Moreno to flip Ohio Senate seat for the GOP. So again, this is where we're talking about this other, right? Let's pull up the other map here. Right. So again, 230, 185. Really our outstanding ones are Georgia, PA, Wisconsin will be telling. Popular vote. Right. So that's popular vote. So cool story, basically. But Trump is currently winning the popular vote by 4 million. Again, lots of wiggle room. A lot of California needs to come in. A lot of other places that'll bump her numbers up significantly. So it's probably closer than that. Looks right there. Governor's races. Republicans seem to be majority walking away with the governor's races. And then Senate. And then we'll get into the seats here in a second, right? So there's been a couple of flips. If they'll show it.
Snap.
Sons of bitches. Come on now. Let's see if I can go over here and find it.
So John types in the chat here. Will is right that we can gamble on anything. It's just awesomely American. I'm curious if gambling odds are more accurate than the professional polling.
No.
I mean,
they're not.
I mean,
there we go. Republicans +2 picked up in the Senate.
Oh, yeah.
There's still 10 uncalled, but it looks like the Republicans will take the Senate. Republicans +1 in the House.
Most media outlets, man, they've already kind of projected that. It's weird how they kind of projected that. That is very weird.
Yeah.
But
so,
I mean, to go back to what John's chat was, I mean, rule number 1, hey, you don't play with money. You know, hey, when money's involved, you got to be careful with that. You know, people don't play with money. So yeah, when it comes to odds, like they make those, they knock those down to the T, you know, because now money's involved. It's different. It's a different world. As far as polling, though, I've always, honestly, personally, I've always questioned, and this is just my personal opinion, but I've always questioned the integrity of these polls. You know, I still don't understand that whole process. And based off what I've learned and from is, I mean, it's just it costs more money. It seems like a money making thing. You know, these polling organizations, it's like they're just out to make a buck. But when it comes to those gambling odds, though, I mean, hey, you know, the mob was involved with it for a reason, because you don't play with money. Let's just put it that way.
True.
You don't play with money. It's a different world. But in the meantime, as we're catching up here, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in social media world right now. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Let's see what we got here. We're going on the world of IG, because, you know, that is.
Hey,
like
who's that
news.
sexy motherfucker?
Ooh, what is this here?
Who's that sexy guy?
We're going
Let's
to be playing
go.
games, having our Buffalo Trace. We'll see you there. Let's go.
Celebrity right there. Let's go ahead and like that team. Okay. Going forward, let's see what I like seeing with these.
What, bro? What happened or what? What happened? Este vato, bro, he just voted. No mames, bro. What the fuck, bro? Nah, are you sure, bro? Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, bro. He fucking put the picture. And
A la verga.
I voted. No mames, bro. A la verga, bro. He's a fucking badass, bro. He's a fucking legend, bro. Neta, güey. No mames, bro. I can't even fucking believe my eyes, bro. Fuck, bro.
I think I want to have his kids, bro.
Bro, I know, bro. He's a fucking legend, bro. And the sticker, no mames, güey. Chingada madre, bro. He's a fucking legend, bro. Fuck, bro. I wish I could have voted, güey. No mames, güey. Chingada madre, güey. Fuck, bro. I'm
Okay, guys,
pissed,
maybe
bro.
I
I'm
can
fucking
relate more to this.
Excited and
This
shit.
is like my
Este vato,
family
he
right
fucking
here.
voted, güey. No mames, bro. Fuck, bro.
Hey, what's going on, bro? ¿Por qué están gritando aquí?
Oh, bro. Dame, bro. Mira, güey.
It can't be that exciting, man. Come on. Hola, verga. He voted, güey. No mames,
I'm telling you,
güey.
bro. He's a fucking legend, bro. He fucking voted, güey. No mames, güey.
No mames.
No mames. Okay, here's what Instagram's already putting out here. AM, a projected winner of Texas. They're already posting it out here off the San Antonio websites as they're breaking news. And you got all these other influencers coming out saying, hey, okay, this is from the Associated Press being posted on here. Who you got? This is obviously a little behind from what Will was already
Turn any
going
long form
over.
video into
Everyone in America right now, right here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's actually very true. That's a true explanation right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone in America. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. If someone had a cigarette for me right now, I'd be like, hey, let's go. Spark that baby up. Spark that baby up. Ooh, we got a post here. I guess here's Trump at Mar-a-Lago right now. He's got Elon Musk and Dana White chilling right there at the table. What do you think? What do you think they're saying right there, man?
I mean, I think that they're pretty happy. I mean, it's looking very interesting. Like I was saying, man, like I think they're about to wrap Georgia 92% in. He's up about 2%, just over 2%. It's still very close. You know, we're talking less than 100,000 votes there. PA, I mean, that one's continuing to open up Trump. They dumped a ton of resources in there. So that's very interesting. Again, Arizona, absolute deadlock. Wisconsin's kind of a surprise. They're 71% in. Again, you know, we're talking 70,000 votes. So that can change drastically. But if there's, you know, if it holds, I mean, in theory, we could have a pretty good idea within the next few hours. But right now we're deadlocked. We really are. Current map is 185, 230. Trump, 270 to win. So he needs another 40 to get over the magic line. Georgia will put him up 16. PA puts him up 19. And then really it's, you know, Nevada, Arizona that could close it out potentially, depending on how those break, or if he pulls Wisconsin. So, yeah, man, like it's interesting. It's leaning his direction, but it kind of was that last time too. So, we'll see where it breaks, man. Like,
yeah, it's going to be super interesting, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we get an answer in the next few hours.
So when do you think it'll be called, man?
I mean, I think we'll wake up tomorrow with a pretty good idea. I think it'll be pretty much done. And then we start the legal challenges. I mean, I regardless of whichever party, it's so close in so many of those states. You're talking, less than in some of these, it's going to be 2 to 3% maybe. You're talking margin of errors potentially. And so there's going to be recounts. There's going to be ballot challenges. Like it's just how long that drags on, and then who really is kind of doing it, I guess, will be very interesting. I am, to use a phrase that was thrown out there by the Harris campaign earlier, cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got some CNN.
Feel things are going in the United States. Nationally, only 7% of voters say they're enthusiastic. 19% say they're satisfied. Look at these numbers. 43% dissatisfied, 29% angry, 72% of the electorate nationally say they're dissatisfied or angry. Pretty dour mood in terms of the way people feel things are going in the United States.
I heard this earlier from CNN. I think that their exit poll questions are dog shit. Right. Like, because they were trying to spin it as very Harris heavy. And Chris Wallace, interesting, he's now on CNN, was kind of pushing back on that. He's like, it depends on your interpretation, right? You're asking a very generic question, to the point where, right, like it depends on how you're interpreting it. If you're a Trump guy, like, yeah, you can still be dissatisfied with the state of the country. If you're a Kamala Harris voter, yeah, you can still be dissatisfied with the state of the country. And you can vote, or you can say democracy is one of your number one issues. And that could break either direction. So like the questions that they're asking are not great.
Yeah. I never really understood that. Like I said, the whole polling thing, it's just, I don't know. I just never really.
Trump is, for now, this is the third Trump election, right? This is the third Trump election. This will be the third Trump election where I think they've gotten it closer, but they traditionally undercount and underestimate that voting block. Right. There are a lot of people that will not admit to casting that vote. There are a lot of people that will not admit to casting that vote.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop. They will not admit to voting for Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
Especially like publicly, right, in front of a news reporter or in front of a pollster, they just won't answer him. So the numbers that they get are heavily skewed one direction. It's getting closer and closer to potentially them calling Georgia. Again, 92% in Georgia.
They're already posting on social media that Trump won Georgia.
Yeah, this is NBC. Like, they're holding out hope, bro.
Well, I was going to say, why are there posts saying like, hey, Trump won Georgia? Georgia's officially been called.
It depends on who you're, right. Like, again, how they are throwing it together. I'm just curious. I'm going to try and pull up.
There's posts here from Newsmax saying projection Trump wins Battleground, North Carolina.
Yeah. Yeah. This is interesting. They've got Trump up 232 to 212. That's Fox News. And then let's take a look at CNN, see what CNN has. There's their magic map. Yeah, so they've got Trump up 230, 165.
Ooh.
Which is really interesting. So CNN, again, not calling some of these outright. Fox News went ahead and gave New Mexico to Harris. Nebraska is one of those interesting ones where they break theirs up. So they've kind of broken up Nebraska. Georgia's looking more and more, again, Trump. Pennsylvania, right? Like there's still enough wiggle room where I don't think anybody can call it yet, but Trump up a good clip.
Yeah.
And then the interesting one is Wisconsin and Michigan. Trump up in both of those. Again, Michigan now, wow. Michigan's almost 50, 43% reported in. Trump up 51, 46. Wisconsin now 75% in. Trump up 51, 47.
Jeez.
Like if he breaks both of those blue walls, like, I mean, it's absolutely game over. Like he's creeping up further and further. But I mean, it's looking more and more like he might take this.
Oh boy. Gonna have a new boss.
And Fox is projecting Republicans will take control of the Senate.
Yep. I have been seeing some of that floating around right now.
Yep. So that should give them control of the Senate and the House.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be very interesting.
Oh boy.
Either way, we're in for a deadlocked government. So that's great.
Yeah. So Will, what are your final predictions as far as like when do you think we'll find out? You're saying 3 a.m?
Yeah, I think it's going to be super, super late. I think it's going to be very, very late. And that's kind of typical. But I think if I had to predict right now, tomorrow morning we'll wake up to learn that Donald Trump will be the next president of the United States. If I had to guess right now.
Yeah. I think that's safe to say, man. I think that's safe to say.
I honestly started when I started the night, and I've been, looking at some exit polling and some stats throughout the day. I would have not predicted that.
No, I know. I mean, when we did our sound checks and stuff earlier, our pre live actions.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't sound too convinced. You were like, "Hey, it's going to be it's not looking
I thought
good."
it was going to be
how you started it.
tight. I thought it was going to be tight and break Harris. I really did. How we started this, and that was just based off the numbers I had seen really come in, and some of the exit polling data, and who was voting, and I did not think it was going to break this way. But it's still very tight. I got to give it that. It's still very, very tight.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But if I had to put money on it, again, right, like you look at the betting pools, you look at what the stock market is leaning. I think it is leaning towards Trump wind up closing this out. And that's it. I mean,
it's like I said earlier, we love drama. I feel like we just need the drama. And I feel like it's part of the next chapter of drama. They just need someone like Trump in office, to be like, let's do it. Let's get some more drama now. Let's crank it up a notch,
Yeah. I mean, and this is going to be the interesting part, right? Like,
because I don't mean to
I was
interrupt,
not. Go ahead.
But if you remember, all the news media outlets, they had their best ratings. They had everything was good for them when Trump was in office, because they literally made all their ratings just picking on Trump. You know what I'm saying? And since he's been out of office, it's like they've been just like. But now with him in office, I can see the media just being like, even on board, like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, let's go. It's good for us. Now we got to start. Let's get our whole next QTB scheduled on this. Let's get our quarter training plan scheduled on this now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't. I think, the American people have seen through that bullshit. There's a reason why
that's
ratings are absolutely dog shit. No, I hear you. I just I think people have kind of woken up to that there is a massive bias amongst a large portion of the mainstream media. Right, you can't claim to be fair and balanced when you're not. And so people have woken up to that. But I will say this. Now it's time to see what this brings, right? If right, like you have this gigantic, this would be the red wave, right? There was a blue wave that came in. This would be a red wave. You've taken control of the House, you've taken control of the Senate, and you have the presidency, and frankly, the Supreme Court, right? You have virtually every branch of government. Cool. Now, what do you do with it? I hope that they understood the assignment. If this is how it pans out, I hope that they prove, these mainstream media experts and these folks that have, said this is the death of democracy. I hope they prove them wrong. Right. I really do. Because if they don't, right, we are in some fucking trouble. And so it's now just kind of, where do we go from here? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that one. And you nailed it right there with the phrase, hey, where do we go from here? I think a lot of our viewers who came in the chat, literally said, hey, you're going to wake up alive tomorrow. You're going to be safe, secure. I did a recent post too, recently, in a vlog that I'll be publishing here pretty soon. But I even said that, hey, regardless how it goes, we are so finite in our foundational upbringing with our government system. And that's definitely what separates us from the rest of the world. And that's something that you can take some encouragement in, that, regardless of who you vote for, it doesn't mean they have the absolute power. We have a checks and balances process. And, so you still have that voice, and you still have that power in the people. And we still have that. So let's, take some encouragement in that as we go forward, and knowing that, hey, regardless of who you voted for and if they lost, just understand that you being an American alone is already a separating factor in the world that you can take some encouragement in, because we do, we in America, and I mean, Will, this too. I mean, institutionally, we have some great institutions, that have now formed that now basically take care of people, regardless. I mean, there's some institutions where we have that good upbringing of we have checks and balances process where not a single person can just be the emperor, and the dictator, So I definitely take some encouragement in that. And that's what kind of keeps me going, So regardless of who wins, it's like, hey, I just know, hey, that's going to be my boss. I have an oath and a dedication of selfless service to the people of the United States. And I live the Army values, and that's what we got to do, and I tell it to the soldiers, regardless, just keep that in mind, and that's how we're going to conduct ourselves going further.
Oh yeah,
and
man.
Life goes on.
Yep. I hear you.
Well, on that note, Will, I think we reached a good limit. I think we reached a good stopping point. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Like, things are just going to keep trickling in over the next few hours. Like I said, I think we'll wake up tomorrow with a good idea of which direction this went.
True.
Harris now up just slightly in Arizona. We'll leave it at that. Fuck Nevada.
Well, before we wrap up, why don't you go over and give us a quick little sit rep on what's going on?
All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's let me pull up El Mapo.
And then John types in the chat, hey, thanks for the stream, you too, and thank you for your service.
Thanks, John, for somehow getting internet to that fucking cabin out in the middle of the woods that I know that you live in.
Oh man, I appreciate you, John. Appreciate you, Jeremiah, and the rest of you guys out there. Thank you guys.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yes,
there's power and presence in you guys. This is a form of presence, so I appreciate y'all and the support you guys bring to the Comfort and Chaos community. And so thank you guys.
Oh shit. This tells you something. 2 minutes ago, this is NBC's live election coverage. Pretty bleak. Guests at European ambassadors watch party grow pessimistic. Oh, let the fucking meltdowns begin. Georgia, 93% in. Trump up 2%. That's about 200,000 votes.
Hey, Will, you're going to have to help me out here. John types in here in the chat, hey, it's through the tunnel into your net, Will.
Yeah. We'll leave that one alone. Pennsylvania.
Appreciate you, John.
Pennsylvania. Trump up again 2%, about 200,000 votes. That's 85% in. That could still swing either direction, but it's not looking good for her. Michigan, 47% in. Trump up 51-47, roughly 45% in. Again, that can swing either direction. 77% Trump in Wisconsin. Like if he cracks that blue wall, that's a death.
That's gonna be a game changer. Yeah.
Minnesota, 55% in. Kamala up again. That's about 120,000 votes. So again, lots of room there, but Kamala up. Arizona, Trump now back up. She was just up a second ago. Trump up.
Damn, Arizona. I swear,
10
they just
out.
love that drama, man. They love that drama.
They are 50-50 right down the block.
They love that out there.
And then New Mexico, she's starting to walk away a little bit. There's only 30,000 votes difference, but 86% in, so they're really kind of coming in. Looks like they just gave her Hawaii. This is NBC's map. 0% in, but they're just going to go and give her Hawaii. Tom out there, single-handedly voting.
Way to go, Tom.
Good job, Tom. So 189, 230, as we call it for the evening. Trump will probably pick up Alaska. That's only 3. Really, right? Like, this is where we're looking. Again, Trump up 2. It's close. And then PA is the other one, 85% in. That's going to continue to trickle in over the evening. Here's our other 2. Wisconsin, now 78% in. Trump starting to walk away. Again, we won't know. Like, we're not diving into the counties. We're not going in deep. We're looking at the overall state percentages right now. But
yeah.
Now 77% in. Again, Trump up 51-47. Michigan, Trump up 51-46, 47%. Roughly, that's 47% in at this point. So we'll continue to trickle in. We'll wake up in the morning, and like I said, I think we'll have a pretty good idea. But right now, it is looking more and more like Trump will be the next president. As we kind of wrap this up this evening, and then we start figuring out where it goes from here. It'll be interesting.
Right. That is right. Either way, we're going to continue living, Will, aren't we?
Every day, brother.
That's right. That's right. Well, guys, hey, we're going to go ahead and reach a stopping point. Your Comfort and Chaos team here. Look at that. We went good 3 hours and 40 minutes long. So there you go. And that's projected for you guys. But once again, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in, being present. And those of you who watch later on, hey, we appreciate that as well. And then the support you guys continue to bring to the Comfort and Chaos community. Definitely. Thank you, guys. Hey, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And check out some of our other videos. Check out some of the other content we provide here. I mean, we're pretty much all over the place, team, but we definitely apply a common sense analysis towards everything that we engage with. And then at the same time, we find comfort in that chaos, and we do it together. There's always a learning point to be had between us all, and that includes you guys. So thank you all. So thank you guys for being present tonight as well. Those of you in the chat, I appreciate you guys and all the love, the support, and the learning and the interactions too. I mean, hey, Will and I we definitely learned some stuff, and then you knock on some doors and we engage in conversation, and that's what we're about here. So I appreciate that. And keep your heads up, team, regardless, like I've said before, regardless of who wins and who you wake up to the winner based off, Will's analysis, it looks like we're going to find out in the morning when we wake up. So when you're sipping that cup of coffee, you just step outside, take a nice fresh breath air of that American freedom, and just be glad, hey, you know what? Regardless, I'm an American, and let's rock and roll. Let's go. Let's play the game. Let's play the game. All right. Hey, Will, you got any last words for the team? Any words of encouragement before we end this?
Yeah, just like my Ranger panties say, only you can prevent communism, brother.
There you go. Only you can prevent communism, team, and forest fires. So keep that in mind. All right. All right, guys. Until next time, hey, we look forward to vibing with you guys in the further in the future. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Comfort and Chaos team, and then we'll see you on the next one, guys. All right. Have a good night, team.